It's the Bennington Show on a Friday. Ron Bennington, Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And Chris Stanley finally knows a Beck song and sings it loud and proud. That's your jam, huh, Chris?
Love Loser.
It's gotta hit the top of the charts before Chris was on board.
They call me Mainstream Chris. That's what they call me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what some people, in some circles, mainstream.
I'm going to start. I know that much.
I thought it was cum stained.
No.
So it's mainstream.
Just in the group text.
Yeah, in the group text, he got stuck with the nickname cum stain because he kept calling himself CS.
As a cum stain rumor.
But you're welcome for the hit, finally, to conclude Lo-Fi Week.
Finally.
Many people didn't make it because I thought, I want to be allowed to have another week.
You know what? You got to have confidence. Dusty Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started.
Dusty Springfield over there.
Yeah, it is. Well, every time our air conditioning kicks in, the dust starts to go.
It hasn't been on in months.
We get just old, dead stockbroker skin. And that's the one thing I get hit with. I don't get hit with the nice, cool air. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and the gays finally got to walk. I'm not going to call it march, because march is a certain thing, and people walk in parades now. Right. They don't march. But they got to walk, and it didn't seem like it was a big deal to them or to us or anyone why this went on for 20 stupid years. Why we still have fucking parades when we have, video games and fucking apps and Twitter. It just seems like the oldest, dumbest thing ever.
Well, they fought so long for it. Yeah. Now the fight is over. The fun is over.
Yeah, there's nothing to it.
The fun is in the fight.
Yeah.
The Lavender Green Alliance has no has no purpose anymore.
No one yelled at them. No one cheered them. They're just more people without talent in a parade. I mean, if you're in a parade, the fucking baton should be on fire. You know what I mean? You're not just walking along waving to people. I see people every day walking down Fifth Avenue. I don't wave to them.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're gay. You're a hero. Do it. It just doesn't make sense. A parade is a ridiculous thing.
I think that it's great that now they have the right to delay traffic like everyone else does. They have the right
was unbearable yesterday.
Annoy everyone the way everyone else does. The same privileges we've all been enjoying for many years.
Yes, be so proud that your ancestors were born in Ireland. What the hell is the Irish and their pride in that little island?
Some of the get-ups, I would imagine anyone from Ireland would just look at it and be like, why the fuck would that make you Irish, what you're wearing? What is Irish about that?
I say what the parade is. Why don't you just call it its real name, Long Island Parade? Because it is an Irish people.
Yeah, those green fishnet stockings really do make me think of home.
I saw a guy, he had a T-shirt on that said, I'm Irish, blow me. And I'm like, that's not pride.
No, it's not.
Why does a gay want to walk next to him? We're not marching people. Your pants are too tight to march down the street. We're not tight pants family. Whatever happened to him? He was doing the Jay Thomas show for a while, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen him around in a long time.
Like with everyone else, it's Christine probably, right?
Yeah, she just pushes people.
She drives everybody out of here.
She has her way.
Yep.
By the way, I saw Jeremy Coleman yesterday, and I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Oh, finally.
You know what he's nervous about?
What's that?
A Trump authoritarian regime.
Really?
Yeah,
that's his big concern.
I go, look, even if all your fears come true, you're basically living in Berlin. It'll just get even weirder in New York.
Yeah.
It's like, really, this isn't America to begin with. You know what I mean? You live a different life. There's everything, That's why Americans hate New York, and New Yorkers don't understand Americans. They're like, yeah, bring your tourist money, but other than that, we don't get them. You're fine. Everyone's fine no matter who gets elected.
It feels like they can make changes, but I think we all know no matter who it is.
I saw something the other day that said 1/4 of Americans say that they will leave the country if somebody is elected.
That happens.
1/4. But never does it get to this high. We used to laugh at the Alec Baldwins who said it because we know they weren't leaving.
Right.
They never leave.
I mean, a lot of people said it about a Bush re-election.
A Bush and Obama, doesn't matter. They stay. Alec was a Bush guy. Everyone stays. Now we're up to the point of 25% of the people. I will leave this country. Good. A little more room on the road.
More room for parades. It'll be great.
You had to bring up the parade again. You know, I don't get it. Stop calling it marching unless you march. A march is an actual thing. You don't say, oh, they're skipping down the road, because they're not skipping.
There's no routine. It's a stroll.
By the way, what do you think is the final age that you've ever skipped?
Fucking 4 or something?
It's something like that, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I don't think first graders skip.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably gone by kindergarten. There's no more skipping. If you saw a first grader skipping around the schoolyard,
you're too old for that.
You would
stop it.
Yeah,
stop that skipping.
I don't even know how it became something. Skipping.
But it's fun. Do you remember the sensation of it? It's very fun.
Hate a skip.
It's like a dance run. It's like you're running and dancing at the same time.
It just means
it actually makes you want to do it right.
You know
now.
what? It seems like when a girl makes a new friend, they would start skipping together.
Right.
Then it was completely dry. All right, I'm gonna do this. You guys want to be in a parade? You've got to march, literally march, or skip. No, just walking along next to your friends.
I would choose skip, personally.
And stop drinking water the whole way down there. This is a performance.
Hydrate, everyone, please. It's a long, long march.
This isn't a marathon.
I mean, is there one thing in that parade to look at? At least in the Caribbean parade, you see, girls barely dressed.
Yeah, it's hot.
You'll never see some redheaded, white-skinned Irish girl waving to everybody in a G-string. It doesn't happen. Hey, today, 2:00, and then all weekend long, it's Unmasked with Bonnie McFarlane. It seems like it happened a long time ago, but it was this week.
It's weird. We had a very busy week, but I'm very excited to share this with everyone because this was a very fun Unmasked for all of us.
It was a good Unmasked. A couple people said, are you going to edit out Chris's weirdness? And I said, no, that was part of it. When Bonnie says to me, great bit, Ron. This is what always gets me. No one goes, great bit, Chris. Fucking acted like a lunatic running on stage. Were you holding on to the hand of a listener, too, while you were running?
Yes, I was. It was half a skip.
And then,
you were holding hands and skipping to the stage.
Yeah. Uncomfortable.
That was craziness.
I felt crazy.
Did I do the Trump joke because like someone bum rushed the Trump stage?
Yeah.
Very proud of that joke. Happened so quick. And it was all in the dark, too. There was no, spot in that thing. There was no, hey, make sure we get a light on somebody. But the underground loves us. Loves us.
Yes. I love them back. We have a great time when we go there.
We do have a great time. Well, you know why? Because we're underground. I think that's where we're at our happiness.
And I feel safe in there.
I like a bunker atmosphere.
You really do.
Yeah. Like if it was the end of the world, I'd be fine in a bunker for however long I have to wait.
How would you feel about a comedy attic?
Too high.
It's the end of the world. Everyone into the attic. We're hard on Chris, but he's our guy.
He is our guy.
Thank you.
I don't want you to run out of here and never come back.
Don't worry. I'm not going nowhere.
Why now? I was actually thinking about this whole team. I can't even picture out anyone being able to do anything outside of this. It's a very limited. I mean, look at Joey. No one's going to say, "Oh, can you write a quick parody song about tits and dragons?"
A terrific parody song.
Yeah.
A wonderful song.
You thought it was terrific?
I loved it.
I was surprised how many people on the phones were giving them shit.
I know. It's a fantastic song. And I've been singing it since yesterday. Since I heard it. It has been kind of annoying me in the back of my head.
They do this on terrestrial radio stations. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, Tits and Dragons. Make sure you're sticking around for Tits and Dragons.
Oh, yes. I'm going to stick around. God, I wish it was 15 minutes from now.
I've never watched a show, and I didn't know. I saw on the iBang one of the people, somebody said, "Oh, I would never watch the show," and someone else wrote, 20 million people do. I didn't know that many people watch Tits and Dragons.
It's the most Game of Thrones. It's the most popular TV show in HBO history.
Do you want me to change his?
Oh no, the song is Tits and Dragons.
Then let's stay with it. Then
Tits and Dragons.
Yeah, we got to call the show Tits and Dragons.
Yeah, Tits and Dragons is 20 million people are watching it.
Good.
In between like HBO Go and replays, it's just it's the biggest hit.
Oh, so now you're adding all kinds of other things. But 20 million people do not tune it. All right, thanks for putting them down, Chris. When I start to hear that, like a lot of people rewatch it.
It's in 2016.
I got to look for 20 million unique viewers, not 4 million people who watch it 5 times a week, which is like HBO Go.
Right.
No, it's
not.
I'm not falling for that.
So it's not 20 million unique?
No. Now, here's the deal. You won't watch Billions with Dan Soder, right?
I haven't watched it, no.
See? It's crazy.
He's got a lot.
That's our buddy.
He likes to rewatch a lot of Tits and Dragons.
If I have a friend in a show, I watch.
Tits and Dragons also, I think, has the biggest budget of any show.
Yeah.
Like each episode.
Have to, just to have that trained dragon.
Yeah. I mean, the animal trainer bill alone.
But, look, somebody showed the blow me, I'm Irish.
Perfect. Classy.
So now we know it's not made up. You can actually sell these. I don't know what kind of store.
Hot Topic?
Spencer's Gifts?
Yes, I've been looking for this shirt. Great. Probably going to get blown.
Let's give Chris, what do you want to talk about today?
All right. Well, there's something called now a bro tailor, which is clothing companies that specifically market to young guys in their early 20s who don't shop, but just like party all the time. And they're calling themselves bro tailors. And they're selling like brightly colored weird shit just to try to appeal to do like crazy board shorts. And
so like party guy shorts.
Yeah, party guy shorts and party guy shirts. And now this is a thing, being a bro tailor.
Okay, so this is what interests me about this. These kind of weird patterns and shorts above the knee was stuff that hipsters were rocking, and those types were going, that's lame. Why are they wearing those kind of weird patterns? And so now they're doing that?
Mm-hmm. It's like if you look at what was considered hippies in the 70s, and then in the 60s, and then dads in the 70s, it's the same fucking wear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Suddenly the dads had long hair and big fucking mutton chops and mustaches, and they used to throw rocks at those people 5 years before. So this that you're showing me, it looks like clothes.
It's being appropriated by the bro tailors out there.
Well, certainly they're appealing to them just with the images that they're using.
First of all, Tommy Bahama has been selling this for 30 years. If you said this was Tommy Bahama and they're selling it for $250 a shirt, we'd all be like, yeah.
But that's why it's just repurposing, because they're like, look at this guy who looks like goofy dude at the party, and look at this dude who's pounding a beer while on one knee.
But this is the difference. You don't get Chris's attention until you call it a bro tailor. And then he's like, what the hell? Bro tailors?
It's ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? It's clothes. When do men care what other men dress and look like?
I care about it because they're calling it a fucking bro tailor.
Why do you care about that?
Because it's ridiculous.
What are you? Fucking some conservative in Texas? What do you care what people call their clothes? Why would a man comment on what another man wears and what he does? Unless he's sexually interested.
I'm not sexually interested in the bros.
Chris and I shared an elevator with some very bro-tailored dudes the other day.
Oh, God.
Yesterday, on the way downstairs. They could easily model for this company.
They were just talking about being pussy whipped. And just busting each other's balls.
This guy's pussy whipped. I'm just standing there looking at like, and then we're giving Chris a hard time.
Just say, shut up, you two, and make out.
It was so uncomfortable. And then the worst was the one guy who was kind of like smirking at us, like, yeah, you hear this like kind of cool stuff we're talking about, like this is pretty like edgy shit, right? And I'm just like, you guys are the lamest. Chris can't even contain himself. He actually just started slowly bashing his head backwards on the elevator.
Why didn't you fucking annoy them?
I should have. I should have. These guys were there's 3 NBC douchebags going on about who's more pussy whipped. It was this fucking most angry.
You know
thing
what
in the
you should
world.
do is fucking complain to their HR that you feel sexually whatever because of their language and their ability to talk about sex, and they'd all be out because that's how fucking these badasses are. That's their fucking business.
And then he used the PW term.
I couldn't believe my ears.
I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get out. I'm in an elevator.
I felt unsafe.
They were bro-tailored up.
You hear? Oh, you don't know what bro-tailors are? Well,
Bro-tailor is just clothes with a new name. It's just clothes. Zach Galifianakis was wearing this fucking 12 years ago. Nobody was crying. Now, because we call it a bro-tailor, all you're doing is put bro. What are you going to go eat? Bro-restaurant. Okay.
I love the repurposing of things for men. Like when a product says, like, this is the men's version of that, instead of just like, what does it matter? And you realize it's just in packaging. Yeah. Like, I was in the drugstore the other day and saw that there was, you know, those, it's not like a loofah, but it's like a spongy, you know, like a poof thing. Okay. So they had one of those and it was by Axe and it was called like a shower tool. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, get this shower tool. And it's like black and red and looks all masculine.
It's pretty badass.
You're like, yeah, women use those. That's the shower tool. And it looks all like there's machinery around it, but it's just the same thing women or anyone uses in the shower.
Chris was wearing a crazy safari hat today, but he wants to talk about what other people are allowed to wear. I don't care if anybody put on a fucking cape. Put on shoulder pads and walk down the street. What do I give a shit?
I like a cloak.
That sounds pretty cool.
I don't care what anyone does.
And that hat is just for, protect my fair skin. And that's all it's for.
Now, here's the thing.
It doesn't look like it keeps you cool. It looks like it's heavy.
It is heavy. I was sweating a lot in it.
But this is like for African safaris, right?
Yeah,
well, there is the mesh sides at the ear. So that's good.
Interesting.
Didn't help me. Sweat still poured off my brain.
But you are a sweaty person.
You were sweating the other day in here.
Yeah. And it's freezing in here all the time.
It's like my life is a sauna. That's how I'm living it.
When I came in, I forget what the Unmasked was. It wasn't the last one, right? The one before that. And you just had big paper towels that you were carrying around with you, like James Brown, just rubbing yourself down.
It was for Louis. Just pouring off me.
Why were you sweating?
I don't know.
It's not like you were even moving a lot.
No, I wasn't. It's just pouring off
nerves?
me. I don't know, because I was sweating here. When I'm in the booth, I'm usually sweating like a goddamn animal. Took my shirt off a few times in there. I was sweating so much.
Well, I remember when you exposed your little tank top you wear. Yeah. I've seen that.
Gotta let it breathe.
Your wrestling uniform.
From the 1930s. That's what he puts on when he does his Indian clubs.
It's my monsoon look.
Yeah, monsoon sweat. So apparently your TV show, Tits and Dragons, tried to send something to Philly to brag about themselves, but the Philadelphia people didn't react as well as you wanted them to.
Oh God, no! So the season 5 DVD is coming out, so they're sending out to various cities around the country. They set up like a dragon landed. So there's like they make up fake debris and whatnot, and then they put onto the walls of buildings a dragon, like a actual dragon, like an image of one. And
so what they act like a dragon has busted up the city. Yeah. Look at this. And by the way, guys, don't forget Tits and Dragons starts April 17th.
If you like this, you'll love Tits and Dragons.
Yeah.
Philly didn't like any of it. Right. They started booing. They're just trashing this stupid fucking dragon image.
More tits, less dragons!
In their defense, it doesn't look that great for everybody to stop traffic for.
They all showed up to see this. They were already on board with seeing a dragon, and they're like, that's the shittiest dragon I ever seen.
They thought they were going to see a great, fun dragon. They let them down.
They should start throwing vodka bottles.
It doesn't look good. It's the most literal heckle. Forget booing. I want to make it very clear how I feel about this thing.
All right, let's listen for her again. It doesn't look good. I'm with her. That's a bad dragon.
What were they thinking?
So now we're going to have that reputation. It's also the city that booed the dragon.
They threw batteries at the dragon.
It's terrible how they act.
They hate even precious dragons.
I don't think we could have set it up any better. It seems to be the new hit song in the alt-rock world. It's Tits and Dragons.
I'm Netflix and chill. Smoke pot after meals. I turn the TV in the room I live in. I need me a show like Game of Thrones. I don't need a plot to fit in. Yeah, baby. Don't try. McShane is right. It's only tits and dragons. Tits and dragons. It's only tits and dragons. Tits and dragons. Oh yeah, it's only tits and dragons. They're all naked.
That's Tits and Dragons, Joey Jojo's new big hit song. You can go and check it out up at the iBang. Vito put together a lovely best of the 5 seasons leading up to it video. I noticed something there with Joey, though. Sometimes he says dragons, and sometimes he says dragons.
Sometimes dragons.
Dragons. And then the next one he'll say dragons.
Consistency, Joe.
And now I was in my head like, which is it? Which is it?
Is he just trying to fill time? Dragons.
Tits and dragons.
It's only tits and dragons. They're all naked.
That's everybody's favorite part of the entire fucking get together.
It's worth the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it, but it's there.
It's lovely.
Well, that's Joey Jojo, parody guy.
Love it, and it's dragons.
Dragon.
But do you notice another time you say dragons?
Yeah, I do. I think I was trying to appeal to every part of the country.
Smart.
You know?
Some part of the country calls it dragons.
Dragons.
No, they don't say ons.
I can only
Now
assume.
your emphasis is too
Dragon.
hard. I saw the show about a dragon.
I call it a dragon.
I like dragon.
It's a dragon. What is that, a Pokemon? It's a Dragonette?
There's dragon Pokemons.
Oh, yeah, there's dragon Pokemon.
It's Charizard.
Dragonite, as I just mentioned.
Dragonite.
Full Kids Club. Happening right now. Amy Schumer did a new promo up on the iBang where basically a doctor is telling her that she's suffering from overexposure, which is like kind of cute, but also one of the things that happens to people. Like, I know there's a lot of people that I liked until they do well, and then I'm like, I've had it with that person.
Yeah, people that you would really pull for. Yeah, like they were, not that well known. You see it with bands, I think, even more so than anything, is people are wholeheartedly like, this is my band, I love this band, and as soon as they get a little bit of attention, like, they suck now.
Fuck them.
I hate them, actually.
All the same songs I loved, I hate.
Garbage.
But yeah, it's absolutely, I think, the case with her.
Well, it's really true for, comics, because you have certain projects. Like, if you're Kevin Hart, right? Nobody is keeping Kevin Hart out there except for Kevin Hart, right?
Yeah.
So there is always that chance of you just happen to be on that thing. You're like, there's a lot of Kevin Hart going down now.
Right.
And I know that happens with Twitter. With people, like after a while, you're like, "Why doesn't Albert Brooks just shut up?" You're the one checking on him. Like, my favorite Twitter that I follow right now is Ann Coulter, because she fights with Fox News. And I never thought I would live to see this day.
Right.
But it's so... Now stuff that probably used to annoy me, I'm like, that's hilarious. She's great.
Well, it's just excited to see them divided and conquering.
I don't know. I can't figure it out. I saw people saying stuff yesterday that were like, trust me, I don't care how many votes he has, Donald Trump will not be on the Republican ticket. And I'm just fucking staring at the TV, not being able to believe it.
I will be shocked if they try to pull that move off.
Dude, they're setting it up now. They're doing everything to block him, which I've never seen happen before in your own ticket. You let your party vote. And then they're literally saying stuff like, well, it never was about the votes. It's always been about what the party wanted. And then that made me even think about the two-party system. Because here's my guarantee. If the Republicans implode, the Democrats will fall down that hole with them. Because everybody will go, why do we belong to a party anyway? Why don't we just vote for who we want to vote?
Yeah.
Why do we need this weird thing with a convention? Just like we're talking about marching in a parade seems stupid. Doesn't a convention with balloons and people wearing hats, like straw hats for no apparent reason?
Right.
It's fucking Comic-Con for fucking political geeks.
Wouldn't you rather vote for someone that you're like, okay, of these 10 points, I agree with 8 or 9 of those points, versus voting for someone where you know that they don't even believe all of the things that they say? They're just like, I kind of lean more this way, but my party wants me to go with this. Wouldn't you rather say, this is the person, these are their principles, maybe we're not 100% on the same page all the time, but I know that's them and that's what they believe in, and they'll fight for it.
When they're in, let's say, the Congress or the Senate, they're going to form alliances like it's Survivor anyway. This is at least out there front. Your thing of those people believe in points so they fight for it all the time is just not true. They will fight for the ones that they can win. And they will compromise on the ones and then be like, okay, I'll vote for you, but later vote for my thing. And you think that that's bad, but it is the way things do get accomplished.
So then the two-party system is kind of inevitable in the way that people are going to get on the same page and make deals with each other no matter if you have a two.
Yeah, but the point is, why is it only 2 parties?
Right.
What's wrong with a 7-party system? And then they're going, well, then the majority don't get. The majority don't now. First of all, half the country doesn't vote. And the idea of somehow we should get them out to vote, I think, is almost even stupid. Like, what do I give a fuck if somebody doesn't vote?
Right.
That's dumb to act like, let's get out the vote, with hip hop. Like, why? That's what it fucking takes. You know that person doesn't care if it takes hip hop stars to get them out of the house. So the fact of the matter is, we're never going to have a majority rule because half the people don't vote at all. And then you're splitting these 2 parties. So at best, you're looking at a 4th.
Yeah, and then if you're saying to people, if you're just pushing them to go out and vote, you're asking for them to make an uninformed decision because most people don't follow politics. Well, I mean, most people don't even follow the presidential race, let alone politics all the time.
Well, you're probably not familiar with this, but because you're young, but most people will just vote party because you don't know anyone once you get outside the senator, maybe congressman, maybe,
right,
and president. But when you're voting for judges and stuff like you're like, I don't know. Might as well figure out that my party knows what they're doing. Most people get elected that way, just on some fucking party ticket. It's cynical at best under the good times. It will be interesting to see if it explodes. Look who it is. It's our old buddy Blowhard. Blowhard, how are you, pal?
My brother, how's everybody?
How you doing? Are you out now?
No, I'm going to be at the rehab briefly. I had a really bad toe infection, So they had a Tom Dempsey it, you know.
Oh, nice. So you got a Tom Dempsey thing going.
An old reference going. I don't think that anybody else out there got it, but you did.
Anybody who doesn't know who Tom Dempsey is isn't a good American. That's what I say.
That's right. But I really missed the show, and I'm just, going to be just doing a little rehab, and, I got to cut down to at least 20 meals a day now and get healthy. This diabetes is a bitch, and it's just been terrible.
Are you following along with the election this year, Blowhard? You're normally like
of course. I'm into it, and I'm disgusted by the whole thing.
Where are you leaning? Because you were a union guy who voted Republican, the way that I remembered it.
Yeah, I was like a Pat Buchanan guy who was kind of like for the unions, but also was kind of a little bit to the right. I'm disgusted by all the candidates, and you're going to be surprised who I like. But I think the grown-up of the group is Kasich. I'm
not surprised when people say that because he's not screaming, but he also wasn't saying anything of interest for me.
Well, he's kind of bland, and, I mean, this whole Trump thing scares me. It's just, we've become a country of morons, and I just can't see that this guy, he says anything, and people...
But here's the thing about John Kasich. He has no road to victory.
No,
there's
no
not
way.
a chance for him to get enough votes. So why is he still there?
That's the whole point. I think he might be looking for maybe a future run, maybe in 4 years.
I think he's asking them to give it to him.
Or maybe he just wants to be a vice president. I don't know. But, I mean, the things that when Trump went to that Christian college and he said, I never beg for forgiveness because I don't do anything wrong. I mean, this guy just says things, the name calling and the immaturity, and on the other side, forget it. You got a criminal and you got a former communist, and I mean, I don't know. Like the voting this year is just the candidates are just awful.
Well,
Ted Cruz, I wouldn't buy a used car from. He just seems too slick, and I don't believe. I'm going to vote. I never missed an election since I was 18. And
so what do you do if it gets to be Trump versus Hillary? Your nightmare.
Well, I got to be honest. I would have to vote for anybody but Hillary. Hillary, to me, I don't even know why she's not in jail yet. I think she's just the most unscrupulous.
Everybody says that, but there's never even been charges against her.
I know, nothing sticks.
No, nothing even sticks. She hasn't been charged. She's never been charged.
Well, maybe that other shoe will drop real soon.
I've been hearing that for a lot of years with Benghazi and now the emails, but the fact of the matter is, if there was something to do, they had every right to do it before now.
Like I said, the Attorney General, of course, is Obama's girl, and it's her decision. If the FBI is pushing for it,
but wouldn't we hear about it if the FBI was pushing for it? Wouldn't there be some FBI agents on TV saying, I can't believe this shit? Like at some point, you either have to charge the person or drop it. That's my opinion. Blowhard, I'm glad that you're out, my friend, and we'll talk to you more. Okay, pal?
Being ill, Eddie Pointer is improving. If your listeners don't know, our good friend Eddie Pointer, who's been a Ron and Fez fan, used to go to all the functions. A diehard. He suffered a massive stroke. And when I first spoke to him, he couldn't get a sentence out. And now, like a matter of a couple of weeks later, he's speaking clearly. He's walking. They got him up walking. He's making a miraculous recovery.
That's great.
It's a big fight. I speak to his sister all the time. He calls me all the time, and God bless him, because when you hear massive stroke, it just scares the shit out of you.
It scares the hell out of you. Well, thanks for calling, Blowhard. Talk to you soon, my friend. Here's Eric in Jersey.
Hey, Ron. This is Eric. You on?
Yeah, what's up, pal?
Hey, I'm going to go way back to Philly. Back in '83, I worked at the Thriftway at 44th and Walnut, which back then was a real tough area. And I was a cashier working through college. They would bring buses up on election day, and they'd load the neighborhood folk, we'll say, on. If you went and vote and got back, you got a free certificate for a McDonald's French fry, small fry.
Now that's against the law, right?
Oh, they were doing it, and it was every election day, school boards, everything, not just presidential. You know the area, 44th and Walnut?
Sure.
So you know a free McDonald's small fry would go big there. All right, I'm going to let you go.
All right, peace.
Bye.
It's always insane to me that we want to get people who don't care about voting out for some reason.
Oh, yeah, we got to rock the vote. We definitely got to
rock the vote was the fucking, okay. Rock the vote and vote or die was the two most, that was, they rocked the vote first and then they voted or died.
Puff Daddy.
And now they've given up completely.
There's no slogans anymore to get the kids out.
Yeah.
And they allow like some places like 17-year-olds, like Ohio said they're going to allow 17-year-olds to vote.
Well, the 17-year-olds that'll be able to vote are the ones that are going to be 18 in time for the election. So you're really looking at 17 and 3/4.
Yeah.
Now they still can't drink, which always kills me. Like, hey, it's your responsibility to pick your leaders, but not your responsibility to have a Budweiser. You're too stupid for that.
Not responsible enough.
You're dumb. You'll start doing keg stands.
You can sit on a jury, too, at 18, can't you?
I believe you can, yeah. Which, by the way, that Hulk Hogan jury, it's a jury of 6, which is always weird to me. And I don't follow it on TV or anything, but I read this stuff. I have no idea how this thing is going to go. He had a tape, him banging his buddy's fucking wife, right? Hogan didn't know that his buddy taped it. Then a guy who works for his buddy stole the tape, sold it, and then Gawker paid, I think, whatever they paid for it, and then only shown like a minute and a half. Yeah. Did you see the Hogan sex tape?
Yeah, I saw the Hogan sex tape. I watched it.
Did you see it on Gawker or somewhere else?
I saw it first on Gawker, then I went other places to watch it.
So it was all on all kinds of sites, right?
Yeah, it was.
So why just Gawker?
Because they're the ones who released it. They were the ones who initially released it, and then these other sites grabbed it.
You're saying they initially released it. You could have blamed it on his buddy, or you could have blamed it on the guy who stole it. None of them have any fucking heat.
It seems to me the biggest problem would be the person who's videotaping someone having sex against without their consent.
All right, hold on though. It's your house, right? Your videotape. Can you videotape in your house if someone comes into your house?
I think you have to be able to because there's security cameras.
But why?
I don't think that you can videotape someone having sex without their consent, no matter where they are. I think if you brought a woman to your home and videotaped her having sex.
Go on.
I think that you would be responsible for
and yet that
releasing.
Guy isn't. That guy's fine in this thing. And then the guy who stole it is fine. And all the sites who did it is fine. The guy who released it, the guy who put it on first. Now that was the whole night in Paris was done the whole same way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like there's some precedent. I don't know how it works. I'm not, of a legal mind. But so I wouldn't know how to bet on this thing.
Gawker seems freaked out.
Yeah, they do.
They
have since from jump.
Yeah, they're taking investors. This is what I've read. It's just like because they just need cash. They just need cash to try to cover the rest.
We also need cash to mount these kind of things. These lawyers don't come cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, my lawyer does, but you know what I mean? He works real cheap. My guy's sleeping in a van. Well, he calls it a camper, but I saw the thing. That's a fucking van.
It's kind of odd.
Seriously.
But yeah, Gawker seems like they're thinking it's over.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but apparently they're going to let the jury go decide in just a little bit. But
that's today that they expect.
I don't know for sure. If it doesn't happen today, I'm sure Monday or whatever. Here's good news for everyone. Joe Piscopo is not dead, even though this news station, when Frank Sinatra Jr. died, they put up a picture of Joe Piscopo. And said, look, Frank Sinatra.
But here's what I want to know. How do you put up a picture of Joe Piscopo playing Frank Sinatra Sr.? Like, how do you get that from your Google search for Frank Sinatra Jr.?
I mean, no. Now that you said that statement, stare around and look at our room at the people who would be doing the Google searches while we're on the air.
Oh, no.
You can see how it could happen.
It could happen.
Found it! It looks like a meme.
But it's also strange how, well, here's probably why. Because we do allow young people to do social media work and anything to do with research, all that stuff.
We consider research shit work these days instead of really important work.
And that's how, somebody would put out that statement where they're like, we didn't know Oprah had tattoos.
Yeah.
And it's Whoopi. Like, that's how that kind of stuff happens.
Dude, one time I brought up to a person that your daughter was born a hermaphrodite. Only to have them get really upset. And I was told, this person has been on Oprah and talked about it.
Oh, shit.
So you thought it was just like bringing up something that was already out and proud and...
In my shock jock days, I didn't do any prep whatsoever.
Right.
And everything seemed to be going great. And I didn't care. I didn't care who was on the fucking show or the phone or whatever. I mean, the whole point in those days is that you put a celebrity on your show, have them get mad, and then you get press out of it. Right? Yeah. So I was like, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean, it's a morning show. You're fucking still in last night's head. I'm like, so you're on Oprah saying that your daughter was a hermaphrodite. This person was like, what? Now, the daughter is famous, a very famous actress. This person is a very famous actress. But apparently this is one of those Hollywood rumors, stepped on chickens.
Right.
Fucking had to have their belly fucking...
pumped
with cum.
That's like saying to someone then, like, so I've heard that you put gerbils up your ass. Is that correct?
Yeah, like if you had Richard Gere on.
Here,
and how do you get them out? How do you get them out?
And you...
So the gerbil ass thing, that's got a hurt going in or just really get you fired up? BL said that the original Hogan sex tape, I guess that the guy stole and sold, went for only $8,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's what he sold it for?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Nothing.
Now, that's according to BL. Once again, we have no proof of this whatsoever.
Lock it up.
But we treated it as fact.
This is literally an insane person who smells fucking paint fucking thinner all day while she's working, refuses to wear a mask. $8,000 it went for Beanie. And I put it on my kit that day for $19.95.
And $8,000 is low, if it's true. If that ends up being true.
Unless you need the money.
You gotta get rid of it fast.
It seems like for $8,000 you could just fucking open up your bedroom as a theater, charge it $12 a piece.
Like at $8,000, not only are you selling out your friend, but for $8,000 you're also releasing a sex tape of your wife.
Yeah, but that wasn't the guy that got the $8,000.
Oh, it was a friend who stole from him.
I don't know what kind of friend. I mean, it was certainly an acquaintance. I would no
best
longer
friend? And they were best friends?
No longer use the word friend. See, look how we got fucked up on our research within seconds.
This is what happened.
This happens, folks. But, I also read that male sex tapes do not sell the same way that female sex. People want to see a famous woman having sex, not necessarily a famous guy. Now, if you're a famous guy and you're a famous woman, yeah, you're going to make some money off of it. But nobody would just go, like, if there was a Donny Osmond sex tape, I don't think it would go well.
Speak for yourself.
There was a Colin Farrell sex tape. And then I don't think it ever got released by a porn company or anything. It just got, like, leaked online. No one even tried to buy it. I watched it, though. What? Why is that weird?
Because he probably was just jerking off by himself.
It's pretty hot.
Is that your thing? Watching
watching guys jerk off? Well, you just said pretty hot, so.
I didn't mean that. Don't want to watch dudes. There was a woman in the scene. It wasn't a scene, it was his life.
And in this scene.
Colin, I'm going to give you your motivation here. Just pretend there's a sweaty centaur watching on his 1989 fucking computer. Fucking Chris's computer is still green numbers on green background.
Yeah, it's
light green numbers on the dark green background.
It's monochromatic.
He uses the same computer the kid had in War Games.
I'm just masturbating the code.
He still takes his phone and puts it in that weird fucking cradle to get online. Remember, that was the sound in the Matrix.
Yeah.
That was the craziest thing when you think in the Matrix, we were still...
Wait, did it have the dial-up sound?
Yeah, that's the original sound that you heard when at the titles of the Matrix. And even remember that the only way that this is like the weirdest plot hole, they had to have a landline to get back into reality.
Right.
Yeah. Now they would not even be able to go anywhere.
No one know what the fuck.
They were like, "You're stuck in the Matrix, dude. We can't find a fucking landline anywhere."
No one has them.
None of these payphones work.
Can you find a grandmother's house?
I need to be on that landline before the truck crashes into it, and then it's empty because they didn't get me because I jumped
back into the real world.
When you get in the Matrix, everybody dresses really groovy 90s style.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
On black leather.
I feel like they all just dress like they were in Blade. I'm like, what is the Matrix? Blade?
Yeah.
Vampires did end up in the second one.
He always tries to give those facts.
And werewolves.
Like, there's no thought with it. No, hey, I've decided to break this down, in my own philosophy. Yeah. He just announces facts as if he's doing us some good.
How does Morpheus's glasses stay on?
I don't want to say, but it has to do with the wideness of the glass. Mm-hmm. The glass itself.
Okay.
What was the girl's name?
Trinity.
No, I mean, if you were ever to give out a best ass contest, Trinity would probably have to pick it up.
Yeah.
That thing was amazing.
She looks great.
I thought she was going to be a gigantic star.
In that, leather, that very wet leather look she was rocking. It's very good.
There it is. There's that ass.
Scott, Panic in Detroit.
Hey, guys. Just an update on that incident with Hulk Hogan and this videotape. Back in 2012, he sued his friend Bubba, who released the tape. And
Bubba didn't release the tape.
Oh, was he the one that...
Bubba had the tape taken from him.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone's ever said anything but that.
Okay. He did sue him, and they did settle out of court in 2012. For how much, I don't know. But obviously he's going after the other company because, they got deep pockets.
Maybe he was able to sue him for filming it, not necessarily releasing it.
See, if I was the Gawker people, how would you know you're not being set up with that whole story? You know what I mean? I'd be like, how do I know two buddies didn't do this, waiting for somebody, and then sued the richest company? The Grinder rests.
Oh, shit.
That's a good idea.
Nobody watches The Grinder?
I haven't watched it.
Rob Lowe?
I don't watch Grinder.
Why? Because it's on network. Is that your fucking problems again?
I cut the cord.
I thought girls weren't allowed on Grindr, but I got confused.
It's not that type of
That's
thing.
the app.
This is an actual TV show starring Rob Lowe. One of the many that stars Rob Lowe. There's at least a couple on right now. And there always is a couple on. He likes to be on 2 TV shows at a time. And he's always fantastic.
Rob Lowe's great.
If I was doing a review of The Grinder, I'd just put quack-tastic.
That's quack-tastic.
No wonder he's a superstar. Somebody wrote to me and bitched the other day. They said they got onto a show because I talked about it on the air, and then I never did again. I go, oh, fuck, I forgot about that show. It's the one where the aliens took over L.A., and one of the guys from Lost was trying to figure out how to fight back against...
The Colony?
Yeah, The Colony. Yeah. So I brought up the first one, I don't know if this is, I was all into it. Forgot all about it. I have too many shows. My Sunday nights are actually stressful, where I have to go to different times to make sure I'm taping. I'm like, okay, I got to push Shameless back on at 2:30 in the morning because I got other shows going. That's why I don't have any time for Tits and Dragons.
I know it's a lot, but you know, I watched it binge style over the winter.
I don't like to binge. I binged twice. It gets me feeling a little crazy.
Now I did it pretty quickly. Like from start to finish, I would say it was probably like a month and a half. But there was one day in particular where I watched like a solid 9-10 hours.
That's as close. Dragons. That's where you can understand what it's like to have a coke problem. When you do something for 9 or 10 hours like that you're not even enjoying, but you're like, there's more.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch any more Wire, but there is more, so I'm going to watch more of The Wire. You don't know what happened 4 hours ago, or what you really hate is like when people will rediscuss things because normally it was from 5 weeks ago, and they're like, well, remember, Chris is the one who had the thing. And you're like, of course! Everyone knows it happened 2 hours ago. Why are you rediscussing this? Damn it. Like they're showing flashback scenes. And you're like, I don't need a flashback. I'm here with you.
Oh, the recap? Fuck that shit.
You guys don't even watch Better Call Saul anymore.
No, I caught up.
You don't?
I don't, Saul. I have my baskets.
Hold on. You got no excuse. By the way, baskets last night? No, you've taken me back off. I was going to say something nice about Better Call Saul, but forget it. I'm dropping that shit.
No.
Baskets was so beautifully shot last night.
It was really gorgeous. It was really good. It's a very heartbreaking episode, but it was
not for me.
Great.
I was actually going like this. Trip to Paris. Yeah, but I only got a week off. Do I want to really zoom in and zoom out? But I do want to run around Paris with clowns and go to underground clubs.
I loved that moment when he finally found his clown friends. But then he left them.
Yeah, but he didn't keep them. Yeah, that's his problem. But his character's changing so fast.
Yeah.
Like he was just straight Galifianakis dick. But now you see him giving and being sensitive and, you know.
And he also has one of your favorite qualities to watch, a mild depression going on.
I love mild depression. I love to start there. I don't like to stay there, but I love to start there. But Louis Anderson told us that Galifianakis shot that the day before the attacks.
Yeah, that they had just wrapped up the shoot and, just the day before. It's crazy.
And that's the weird thing. Like, hopefully that doesn't change the way we think about Paris. Because I think no matter who you are, you don't have to go to Paris to be glad that there's a Paris. You know what I mean? There's certain places that you are glad that are out there. Like I might go, but you haven't yet. I think Paris is maybe at the top of that list.
Yeah. I think I would love Paris and Berlin.
Yeah, I think everybody would love all those places, particularly city people.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think we could go just about any city and feel comfortable.
When I went to Rome, I had that feeling of like, any New Yorker could live here. Right. Any New Yorker could be like, oh, it's just an entirely different scenery.
Right.
But you could manage.
Yeah, you're always like, I see. So, like, this is the West Village of fucking Berlin. Okay. Like now I'm in the Soho of Berlin. Is that it? Berlin have a Brooklyn? Is our boy in the building?
Our boy is.
So let's break, right? Or do we bring him in?
Let's break.
We're going to break. We're back with one of our all-time favorites, Tommy Johnagin, is here tonight. Chris, what's going on with him?
He's performing today and tomorrow at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets and more information. And on Twitter, it's at Tommy Johnagin.
Stress Factory. It's a factory of stress. Stress Factory. Right back, Bennington.
Just can't wait to see Tommy Johnagin. The life we love is making jokes with our friends, and we can't wait to see Tommy Johnagin.
That's the theme that Tommy Johnagin demands to be brought into.
So I'm either sad or happy that my dad didn't live to hear that. I don't know which one it is. No, that's flattering. I'm embarrassed. It's that's nice.
Yeah.
Where can I get that? Was that about me?
Yes.
Oh,
it just happened. Yeah.
I thought it was.
Tommy Johnagin, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while.
It's been too long.
But you know what? Back. You brought some nice West Coast weather with you out here.
I brought the weather.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been calling in too much, so I should probably come in.
Never. Always call in.
Call in because you're far away, but, you know. Here's the thing. You're in Jersey this week, right?
I'm in New Jersey at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Yeah.
When New Jersey's like Canada to me. Like if you just say New Jersey, you know, like if you ask people where they're from and they just say Canada, it's a huge place, and you're like, oh yeah, you're from Canada. That's how New Jersey is. I didn't know there's more than one place. It's just all New Jersey.
Well, you know that the people from North Jersey don't even know South Jersey. So the people from North Jersey...
I didn't know there was a North and South.
Yeah. North Jersey, a dividing point is around Philadelphia, okay? So Philadelphia over to... so you got Trenton is kind of a Philly city, where the other ones up here, or like they'll root for the Eagles. Camden will vote for the Eagles. But then when you get up this way, they don't even know those people. It's almost like half Giants, half Eagles.
They have different accents.
Yeah, they do.
Completely
New
different
Jersey people?
Yes.
I don't, I'm from the Midwest, so I don't even, the Northeast, but I think it's because all the names are in the ocean. And I'm not going to do the math to follow the arrow. It's like you need a bigger state or a smaller name.
Yeah, the smaller states are
New Jersey Ocean.
Yeah, well, New Jersey is a pretty big sized state, but when you get into, Vermont, New Hampshire, you drive through those things like it was a county. You know?
I'm not going to pay attention to this.
When I drive like to Maine, I'll go through 18 states. I'm like, what? I still cheer when I go over a state line. Like, yay, we made it! Here comes Tommy demands a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
We asked if I wanted light roast or... I'm not the only one getting coffee.
Yeah, Gail's a little bit of a coffee addict.
Oh, man.
But, in a little bit, we'll talk about headliners and their demands. But first, you had a big, busy day today, right?
I did radio in Trenton. Yeah. I don't know how they say it. And then they're just like, get on a train, and it'll take you into... I'm so... When it comes to getting on trains, I'm like autistic, but not in like the good way where I know all the routes. I'm like autistic of you're like, oh Jesus, that may be the last time we saw him. And so I get on the train. So many people have bits, but it's not even a bit. It's just like I asked the guy, I was like, "Where's this train go?" And he goes, "New York." And I'm like, "Well, there's so many places in New York. I literally don't know what I want to go to one place in New York. This could have been going to Syracuse or something." And they just yell at you, and then I get on, and the girl was like, I asked a woman that looked like she spoke English, and she said, we're going to New York. And I just had a nervous train ride. I'm facing the wrong way. I'm in that seat.
But see, this is a good point that we forget. When people say New York, they mean New York City. So even people who live in New York say, I'm going to New York. And people...
for New York City?
Yeah. And Queens and Brooklyn, they'll go, hey, you going over to New York?
Yeah.
They don't even consider themselves New York.
Like people in Brooklyn will say like, oh, I never go to the city.
Right.
Even though they live in the same city.
They know that they really don't go. They get that part of it. So you had an autistic, scary day
I had an autistic day today, and I got to have an autistic ride back. Just sitting. I can't believe I got on the train, and they're facing, there's only two directions the seat can face. And I picked my seat, and I thought, well, I don't want to be facing backwards. And then the train started moving, and I was like, well, shit. How did I not know? But they don't have an arrow.
No, but you know north from south, and you were heading north.
Barely.
No, you don't.
I'm autistic.
You just thought we'll be fine. How was your Trenton radio show? Did it go well?
They were super nice people.
That's great.
Fantastically nice people. And they were like, Tommy Johnagin is at the Stress Factory this weekend. Call in and win free tickets by telling a joke. And I was like, I don't see why anybody would want to come off of that.
Right.
So people just called in and told jokes. And I'm like, they don't even know why. They just want something for free. They got a new joke. So I had to judge who gets free tickets to my show as people are like, who is that? What's that guy again?
People have been doing that gimmick with comedy clubs forever. Since the beginning of comedy clubs. Call in, tell us a joke, and you'll win. But the thing is like you go to the comedy club and then there's no jokes there. You know what I mean? Like people don't tell street jokes there.
Yeah.
It's an exact opposite thing.
It's not a taste of what you're going to see later.
But the thing is, like, let's suppose you had Coldplay in. You wouldn't say, call in and sing a song, and if we like it, we'll send you to see Coldplay.
Tickets. Now, when you first did radio, was it similar? Because I know the first time you were ever on radio was to promote a show.
Yeah.
Was it
same exact thing? The first time I did radio, and when I had a club, I fucking did that. I don't like to name drop, but I'm going to tell this fucking story because it's funny. I was with Bill Hicks, and we did this little shitty radio show, like in the Carolinas, where this tiny room, and no one was calling with the jokes.
Yeah.
And people would call out for the jokes, and they would go, got any Styx tickets? And could you play some Styx? And then fucking Hicks crawled in the other room, called, got in, and there was only one phone line. Got in, started to act like he was telling a joke that went nowhere. And he was like, wait, let me start that over. And then finally he goes like this, could you just play Styx? That's all we want. And it was like really, truly one of the funniest moments of my life. But at the same time, I was also thinking, what kind of life is this? No one is even calling. And I'm with him.
It's brutal. I had a buddy, we were doing radio, and the guy was a bit of a dick. And, kind of teasing the thing of like, hey, you better be, I may not promote the shows if you don't, and we're just like, I don't think that anybody's listening anyway. And the guy's like, I'm not going to tell him to call. And then my buddy goes, you know what? Call my cell phone. And he gave his cell phone number out, and we all just stared at it as it didn't ring for 20 minutes.
God, that had to
he just gave his cell phone out so many times, and we're just like, so that's the big plug, huh? We're holding that over our heads. They have a working cell phone number of the guy on the show, and they're not calling.
What town was that in?
It was, man, where was that? I think it was in like Sioux something, South Dakota.
Right.
Wherever there's a Sioux in South Dakota.
Sioux City.
Sioux City?
Yeah.
So many Siouxs out there.
Just one. It's just the one, you autistic bastard.
There's Falls, too. There's Sioux Falls somewhere.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, you're right. Okay, you get tickets tonight. Then you're off to the Stress Factory.
Tommy Johnagin is performing today, March 18th, and tomorrow, March 19th, at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets and more information, and you can follow him on Twitter at Tommy Johnagin.
Well, this is perfect. This all fits in because this happens with a radio station and a comedy club in Baltimore. Vito, do you feel like you're up to tell the story? Do you think you got it down?
Yeah.
Because he was trying to tell me before the show. All right, so give us the headliner, first of all.
Well, the headliner was Tom Arnold.
All right, Tom Arnold. Everybody knows Tom Arnold. So he's playing where?
Tom Arnold's sweating.
He's playing at the Baltimore Comedy Factory.
All right, and what happened exactly?
And comedian Joe Robinson was there to open up for him. And Tom Arnold locked him out of the green room and made him sit inside the audience.
Because he was the headliner?
Yeah, because he wanted to change by himself. And he wanted to...
Why are you changing at a comedy club?
I also like the phrase sit inside of the audience. He had to fuck somebody? Tom Arnold made him fuck somebody?
He was sitting within the audience.
So he said he can't use the green room. And then what else? And then this kid the next day went on and bitched about it on the show?
Yeah, he went on to the 98 Rock Morning Show.
All right.
And he was telling them about how not only did he make him sit in the audience and call him from the audience to come on stage,
right,
he also made him sell merch at the table and take pictures of him with his fans after the show. He also mistaked him for the DJ. He went up to him and he said, hey, you played the wrong song for me.
All right, so the point is, the point would be, when the headliner comes in, does he get the green room for himself?
I don't know the comedian other than Tom Arnold in question, but I do know when I hear that story, anytime somebody the comedian's a grown man.
Yeah.
Anytime you're telling someone, and he made me do this, I'm already not on your side.
Yeah.
Tom Arnold made me sit here, and he made me do this.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, kid, but it's been a long time since somebody made me do anything.
There
he is. Yeah, there he is. That kid I could make that kid do anything. That tiny kid in that huge sweater.
What's the name?
I don't even know him. I'm sorry.
It's the Baltimore Comedy Factory.
Baltimore Comedy Factory. It's up on the iBang to go check out the story. But you were saying...
Tom Arnold went on a rant.
Yeah, he went on a tweet rant after the opener, went on 98 Rock and, kind of badmouthed them. And, here's what happens now. we can't talk about anyone without someone telling people.
Yeah.
So if
this kid's going to fight me now.
Yeah, exactly. This kid is like, who the fuck is Johnagin to say something about my sweater?
Let me get out of this sweater.
Yeah. But that's what people do immediately. They go, Johnagin doesn't like your sweater.
Yeah.
Then you have to explain the context.
I was just joking.
Yeah.
You gotta dry it to shrink it. You can't just wear it and have it shrink on you. It doesn't. Why am I roasting the kid? But anyway, so the kid went on radio and he's upset.
Yeah, he busted balls but here's the deal. You headline clubs. Do you feel like if you needed the room?
I don't think there's a clear line. I think that I haven't gotten to the level that I would feel okay or cool about it.
Right.
But if you're Tom Arnold or if you're selling tickets and it's your show and everyone there has paid to see you, I think it's fully within your right to be like, hey, I'd prefer this green, if that's what you'd like. I'd prefer this green room by myself. And also, Tom Arnold is, he's been around for a long time. He's probably just doesn't want to meet. Who knows what he wants to do? But he wants to be by himself.
Yeah, he doesn't want people to sit back there and ask him about Roseanne. Like, what happened with you guys 25 years ago? Like, I wrote books about it. That's the thing is, like, you can't, once you get known for anything, people will ask you about it forever.
Yeah.
And just imagine it if your life somebody was asking you about your high school girlfriend every fucking day. You're like, dude, I haven't seen her.
Well, that's the funny thing about success like that. It's the thing that you want and you're, I hope that I get that TV gig or I hope that I land this movie, and then you probably resent it the rest of your life because you're like,
you got to have a bunch of things.
Yeah, and that rarely happens. But yeah, like Adam West worked 2 years as Batman. In the 60s. And every day of his life is something to do with Batman.
Someone just calls him Batman.
That thing was 2, maybe 3 years, tops. Gilligan's Island was like a year and a half, 2 years.
It's so funny you look at shows that you remember.
Yeah.
I was just looking at something, a show that I could probably quote lines from every day, and it was on for 2 seasons.
What show was that?
It was like a kid-ish type show. I can't remember. It's left me, but I was talking to it with my chick.
Right.
Talking about it with my chick.
So that's one of those things, because 2 years to you when you were a child was gigantic amount of time. You know what I mean? Like 2 years is as far as you could think. I remember like being like in 6th grade and being like, okay, school's over, you come back in September. And I'm like, I'm never fucking coming back here. Halfway through the year, I didn't even remember I fucking went to school. Like what? And then they just grab you with dirty fucking bare feet in September to force you back in.
What happened?
You're like, I've been living like a wild boy.
I haven't had a vegetable in months.
No. Everything about you is
so
changed.
Weird. On the TV thing, when you look at someone when you're a kid and it's on a show for 2 or 3 seasons and you'd lose your mind, they're famous, you do nothing but ask them about it. But in their life, after the show, they're in like a Wendy's commercial. They got to find a way to make $20,000.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they weren't like, to me when I was a kid, the people that were the celebrities on a game show were every bit as big as an Oscar winner. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see the difference.
Yeah.
So then you find out that guy was probably getting, a couple $100 an appearance.
Oh, people always assume that. Like, if you are on television,
right,
you're probably rich. That's probably the case.
And now there's so many
famous
television stations, right? So back then there was only a few. Now there's like 150 stations. And there's guys working on those shows, flipping houses or whatever. They're not getting rich from it.
Yeah. They're just construction workers.
Yeah. And celebrity chefs are chefs.
We've gotten down to there's Chopped has been on so long. There's like I saw a kid Chopped.
Yeah.
And then College Chopped. They've run out of chefs. They've put every chef on TV. Every person that's a chef has been on TV. Now they got to find a guy that's like, you got a microwave? You like the cooking channel? Come on down to Chopped.
Food Chop.
We got Pizza Chopped.
I didn't know they did a kids Chop.
Yeah, they do a kids everything.
They do a kids Chopped. Yeah.
And then they'll vote off children, and they're like, you just see them.
They cry. This little girl cried.
That's terrible.
Kid tournaments.
And you'll see these kids, they can barely reach the stove. And
I know, it's crazy.
Burning
trying
themselves.
to mix
I saw a
stuff.
girl cry. A little girl, which is crazy because it's cooking and thinks just as a girl she'd be good at it, just kind of instinctually, but she lost and just cried. They made a girl like a 9-year-old girl cry on the Food Channel.
Good.
Well, yeah, she didn't.
You
She didn't get all the ingredients in.
Sucks.
That's what all these shows should be shot in Philly. You blow. You're the
It's not
worst.
very good.
It's not a good thing. Nate wants to guess what show that you're obsessed with. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh.
Yeah, Bennington, mouth breather. Tommy, how you doing?
Because you're a mouth breather.
I breathe through my nose.
Not really.
I think the show Tommy was talking about was Pete and Pete.
Was it Pete and Pete?
No, I never saw that one. But good guess, though.
But
I'm
was
sure.
it like a Disney show? Is that what you liked so much?
It was Nickelodeon, and we were just talking about that. I thought that show was on for like 10 years, and I don't even know if it made it 2 seasons.
No, this was like a network show. We didn't have cable. So this was some type of network Friday night. Like that show Dinosaurs with the dinosaurs. That was on for 3 years.
Yeah.
I feel like it was on for an eternity.
Yeah, me too. I think that must be at your age that you just feel like, oh yeah, that show was on forever.
Remember when the girl from Small Wonders or whatever it was came in here? There was some big busted girl that every fucking 35-year-old guy...
he's thinking of Topanga from
Topanga.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Every fucking guy in his 30s in this place went crazy, and they all lined up like babies.
I'm on board with Topanga. Have been since I was a kid. Here's a little dark, I don't want to say dark secret, a little secret of Boy Meets World. The girlfriend of Corey's brother has grown into something else.
Really?
You got to look her up.
Look it up.
You got to look her up.
Corey's brother's girlfriend.
It's on. I follow her so I can find it real quick.
This is really uncomfortable. Do you follow her Instagram?
Just I have security cameras and stuff. I got a company on the side. I don't know, Maitland Ward. Give that some type of Google. Ward being the last name. I may be saying it wrong, but that's it. Some crazy stuff's happening up here.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
But there's some. Yeah, it
What
gets
is
better
she
and
dressed
better.
for?
Oh, it's a wedding. Look at that one.
But she's wild.
Jeez Louise.
She's wild.
Ho girl? Is that what that shirt says?
No.
Yeah, she's Ho girl.
It does not say
Or
Hogan.
I think it says hoagie. Never mind.
Does it say Hogan? It says Hoagie.
No, I really like her.
Look at that business.
No, she was a little kid when you watched the show.
She was the girlfriend of the older brother. I was also a little kid.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not going down for this shit, Ron.
I wasn't saying you're creepy. Look, she's...
Yeah, look at she's kind of goofy there.
Yeah, the years
As
have
a
been
kid.
kind to her. The years have been kind.
And she's
Oh,
done
girl.
some lingerie and there's some things. I was just going through a dark path of Boy Meets World Googling, which that show was probably on for not that long.
Yeah, give us the idea on that. How long?
8 years.
Okay,
8
so you
years,
just
Jesus.
Turn this into liars.
You have to,
Vito
8
never
years.
helps out.
If you're on for 8 years, you have to almost do an AIDS episode. How many storylines
Very special.
on a kids show?
Well, that's where we are in baskets right now. We hit a diabetes
I know.
episode halfway through the first year.
Oh man, that show! I was in tears when Chip and Dale are in the hospital, and he's just like they're going through it, and he just goes, "She looks dead," just so subtly. She looks dead. She's not.
After bringing all the water the week before, Mom, we got some water for you. We're gonna be with the Chemical Brothers.
Oh man, that show is so good.
It is unbelievable. We were saying too how Galifianakis just has let these two other people shine.
I know.
On his show.
Yeah.
Too.
Louis and Martha both are just incredibly funny.
Martha's a comic, right?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she is crazy funny on that show.
I'm hoping Emmys. I hope that Louis
Tons
gets
of
it for a female actor.
Yeah, but that would be unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
But last night there was like, so Louis is there in a coma, and you just hear Martha saying to the nurse, "How do I know if I don't have diabetes?"
Oh, hi, Mrs. Baskets. I just think in Martha's voice now. Like, I keep hearing it in my head.
Because it seems relaxing.
It is very relaxing. But there was something from the week before when he had first, when Louis' character had first ended up in the hospital, And she's on the phone saying, what can I get for you at the house that I could bring to the hospital? And then she just says, now what about you? Do you need pajamas or do you sleep in the nude? Like he's going to sleep in the nude in the hospital next to his mother. It's so great.
You know, Tom Arnold did that show and took over all the dressing rooms. No one was
allowed to dress.
He made Zach Galifianakis sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
Now take photos of me with my fans.
What kind of how are you made to sell merchandise? If you make me sell your merchandise, everything's free. You're all getting a shirt.
But let's think for a person who thinks, honey, I need a Tom Arnold shirt.
Remember
Give
that
me
night.
$40.
Give me $40 for a Tom Arnold shirt.
You're not going to wear
What
that.
size do they have? Oh, it just comes in, go fuck yourself and give me $40.
Tommy Johnagin is in studio with us. Tommy's performing today, March 18th, and tomorrow, March 19th, at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets and more information.
Are you on the East Coast for a while, or is this in and
No,
out
just
for you?
back, home Sunday.
Yeah.
Home for a few weeks, which is rare. My kid's spring break.
The kids are...
I have my 3-year-old, I have a 6-month-old, and a 3.5-year-old, and the 3.5-year-old's in preschool. She's on spring break.
They get a spring break from preschool.
2-week spring break.
What?
So this is next week I'm in Brea at the Brea, California Improv, which is just a drive. And then after that, for 2 weeks, my 3-year-old daughter's on spring break. So it's like insane.
Daytona or
yeah.
Yeah, where do they go at that age? You know, the thing is, preschool is also a babysitter. So now what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so we got to go to Disney World or something. That is right. We should. How has no one done a parody of like a preschool spring break, MTV spring break? You can show those 3-year-olds boobs.
Yeah.
They're not going to blur them even. They're not going to blur them.
You can even do ass shots. Everyone's like, oh, that's cute.
How adorable.
Everybody but Jared Fogle. And then he's like, fuck.
You turn away.
Then he's in trouble. He actually just, he got beat up the other day.
Folks?
Yeah.
That
in
must have been
prison,
a badass.
The rec yard.
Yeah.
And he got cornered by another inmate. And he was beaten, which, you know,
Isn't
they don't
that the
take
second time he's got the shit kicked out of him?
Yeah, I think he did once before, so this time.
Yeah, 8 more and 1 free.
But they don't take kindly to kid touchers in
Sure,
prison.
because they're murderers. So
yeah, they're like,
him.
that I would not do. You're disgusting, sir.
On your first day, you're like, hey, I fucked like a ton of kids, but can you just tell people I was like a bank robber? I just think make my time easier in here. I'm going to tell people I'm a bank robber. Do you mind?
I look down on you. I hit old ladies and take their purses.
The dude that beat him up said he was acting like a big shot, which is why
Jared Fogle was?
Jared Fogle,
Oh, his famous.
No, I imagine he would.
You know, that just means that you had a baby Ruth. You know what I mean? Like, being a hoity-toity in prison.
He keeps rubbing his commissary in our face.
Yeah.
They said Jared also gained a bunch of his weight back in prison.
Oh, that guy was gaining it back before. He has his contract before the pedophile thing. He lives in Indiana, and he came to a show and he was heavy. And I was joking with a buddy of mine who's friends with him. We're probably not friends with him anymore. But he said he has to lose all that weight before he has all these public appearances, and in his contract he can't appear. He can go out, but he can't do like a booked public appearance or a commercial unless he's at X weight. So every time he's off, he just shoots up and he just goes back down, and he was also fucking kids and stuff. So
yeah.
But there were a couple commercials there where he would be like holding the $5 foot long sign. Yeah. You're like, yeah, we know what's behind there.
His apartment was above that subway. Did you know that?
No.
That's true. In Bloomington, Illinois, I've driven past it. They were like, he would walk to Subway every day. He lived directly above it in the same building.
Yeah.
And he would walk downstairs.
And I mean, he would have walked the same place for ice cream, too. Let's face it.
Yeah. He just went to the closest place. He went. It was the laziest way to eat food.
Yeah. But the thing is, you notice that he went to jail and then they added another $1 to that sandwich. You know?
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one holding back the price.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat your
$6 now.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's garbage. I don't know how it's. I'm not going to eat your cardboard salami sandwich. The bread's awful and the meat's terrible. It's slick.
Smell of that bread. There's no other bread that smells like that. That is the weirdest smelling bread.
You guys realize they're looking for spokespeople. You could be going for
I'm
this
done.
gig.
I love Subway.
Also, anytime you go into Subway, you can go into Subway at noon on a Friday and they give you the attitude that you walked in at 2 till close. Subway's the only restaurant that every time you go in, it's like they're about, oh, this fucking guy coming in to get a sandwich. We close in 8 hours. I'm cleaning up.
Nerve.
Tommy Johnagin is in studio with us. Tommy's performing today, March 18th, and tomorrow, March 19th, at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets and information.
You know, Jared Fogle needs to get with the fucking neo-Nazis. That's where he fucked up. You need the white brotherhood to protect you in there.
Shave that head, get some hats.
No matter what your own political and social agenda, it's survival time.
If you're in there for long enough, it's like just be super racist just for the protection.
Now, does anyone join a subgroup that they're like we're gonna do like not
skaters or something? No,
like I don't know. It's like we're friends with everybody group.
It's
like
the 99%ers.
Yeah,
those guys are called twinks. They get passed around from group to group.
Gotcha.
But you're either with the Hispanics, the blacks, or the whites. Even if you're Asians. You're like, I guess I'm Hispanic then.
Turn around.
Yeah.
Can I be in your group? Turn around, let me see. Asians. Your spaghetti noodle bodies.
Chris, would you have any problem joining?
If I'm doing 15 years, I'm coming out fucking with swastikas and a shaved head.
Yeah. There was a woman the other day that...
He doesn't even need 15 years.
Well, it was the PBS station had done a thing about how this person was never political, but now she is because of Donald Trump, and they showed her on there. And then people were going, hey, that 88... stands for Hitler, Heil Hitler.
Yeah.
There was other things.
She had the cross.
They didn't realize that she's just this super white supremacist woman.
I love the idea that I'm not political and I'm not big into this, but it's the Republican Party is now, it's not like the super rich 1%ers, it's white trash racist people. Like they flipped the party over.
Yeah, very quickly.
It happens so fast.
Yeah.
Where I feel like the rich white people have to be uncomfortable, right? They're not happy with this.
The rich white people are basically saying, I don't care if Trump wins. We're not giving it to him.
They don't want them to have that.
Yeah, they're at a point now where they're saying the voting doesn't really count for everything. That's just a portion of what it takes to run.
And why do it? It's fucking crazy.
Well, because normally it falls into line properly. Normally you people listen to commercials and do what they're said. They hit Trump with $40 million worth of anti-Trump commercials in Florida, and his fucking poll numbers went up, and he blew away the guy who lives in Florida. Hispanics were voting against the Hispanic guy because they like Trump. They don't know what to do.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so insane. Now, if they take the nomination away from him. Riots, sure. But who would they even try to give it to?
They can give it to anybody. They could give it to Mitt Romney. They can give it to the Speaker of the House. These names have popped out. Somebody who never even ran this year.
So it probably wouldn't even be someone like Kasich or Cruz.
It could be Kasich. It probably won't be Cruz because they hate Cruz too, because he doesn't even like the Republican Party. He's more about Jesus and guns and whatever, but he won't vote with them.
To give it to the ghost of Nancy Reagan?
I wouldn't mind seeing her win. Mm-hmm. You know, finally, first woman ghost president.
Yeah.
So you're not a political guy. You don't vote?
I don't vote. Yeah. This is the only time I've really paid attention to it. I just feel like it's going to happen the way it happens. But this is the one where it's so in your face. And it's so crazy where I'm like, it's the only time where he's saying he's like a lunatic. He's like a crazy man saying you should punch him in the face, like these physical threats to people.
Yeah.
And then I'd make the military do this, and they're like, well, that's actually illegal. And he's like, they do what I tell them. And I'm like, what is that? I don't think that I'm not comfortable with that.
We're gonna shoot kids. Get it through your head.
They do what I tell them.
We're shooting kids. We are digging pits and throwing people into fiery pits. And then his approval rating go up on that kind of stuff. They said that he'll even say things that aren't true. They'll prove it's not true. It doesn't touch him. People like him
liar.
He's been on TV for a long time.
It doesn't matter what he said. Last night, I was in the kitchen, and the news was on in the other room. I don't even know what was on, and I just hear that they're playing a clip of him, and he goes, "I'm very smart. I have a good brain." I'm just like, what context is he saying this?
This is the context. They said, what foreign advisors do you have? Because Cruz put out his foreign advisors, and there's a couple people on there who people worry about, and you normally go through and he goes, I don't use advisors. I know what I'm doing. I'm smart. I have a good brain. I'm not going to listen. So that's another reason why the Republicans don't want him. He doesn't have a campaign manager. He doesn't have anybody making up. You're supposed to go to the right guys to get your fucking posters done, and there's money made. He's like, I don't need that. I tweet. I yell. I have my own plane, so I'm fine. He's spent less money than anyone. He's only spent $10 million.
It's fucking nuts.
And they're spending just tons of money against him, and no one gives a shit because they see their Twitter and they're happy with him. Now, can you even picture another celebrity being able to pull off running?
He is at this point. I think he is actually dumb enough to do this stuff where anyone else would probably be at least a little too smart to outright deny a thing that they had said on TV. But the fact, I don't even think he thinks of it, but they're like, you said this yesterday, and he's like, I didn't say that. And then in their mind, they're like, well, fuck, I don't have the video. Like, it exists, but I just don't have it on me. So we have to stop or get a laptop.
Well, I wonder even at this point, whether he gets the nomination, however far this goes, he took it way farther than anybody thought he was going to take it. And I wonder if it does break things open for other types of personalities like celebrities to be like, if Trump got that far.
Well, you got to figure Oprah has
Oprah's
a good
the
Q rating, so I think there's one even above Oprah.
Really?
I think Jon Stewart could have won.
I was thinking Jon Stewart.
And I might vote for Jon Stewart if he ran, because I miss him now.
Yeah.
I'd vote for hear from him again.
I'd vote for Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
I'd vote for that 9-year-old girl they cut on Chopped over Trump.
I feel bad for her. Is there anybody for you? And be serious, Chris.
I think Clooney could run.
I don't know if I relate to Clooney.
His wife could run.
I think she's supposed to be the smart one.
Yeah.
I would. Stewart is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah. I would definitely think about him. Joey, you're jumping up. What do you got?
I was going to go with Bill Maher because he's always been so politically active, even before Jon Stewart.
I would agree with that, but he might be too polarizing. Then again, Trump. I mean, Trump is very polarizing, and yet he's gotten this far. Who would have ever thought?
Does it have to be a TV star? Because I've got one always in my back pocket. Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
You give me Warren Buffett.
Yeah. See, the thing is, people look at Trump like he's Warren Buffett. You know what I mean? They're like, he's really smart as shit.
Trump inherited $200 million. Warren Buffett was selling Pepsis at a beach, and he's the second richest man in the world.
Yeah. And still drives around in an old car and lives in, just a small. Yeah, he doesn't care. It's not why he does things. Trump, Penn Jillette said his apartment looked like the fucking whale suite in Vegas. Just gold and just shitty stuff happening everywhere.
There was a time that I think Regis could have run. He was loved enough in this country.
That goes to show you New York, though. Regis is gone, no one gives a fuck. Letterman's gone, no one gives a fuck. Life goes on. If you ever think when you're young, you're like, I'll make my mark in the world. No, you won't.
One of the biggest. It's just the change of. I don't know if it's socially or just like a culture, whatever it is the new Late Show awning or whatever it's called, that the billboard marquee. Outside the marquee. It used to say the Late Show, and then in tiny letters it said with David Letterman. Now you walk down and it's 40 feet of the word Colbert.
Yeah,
and that's what it is now. It's become.
It seems very strange, doesn't it? Because the other
long one,
and they used to have
vertical one.
The word Ed Sullivan Theater on it too, right? Very big.
Yeah, it did say.
And now Colbert just has that hanging down.
It's just That's the same as Trump to me.
Right.
That's like putting.
Oh, I agree with you.
It's ruining that building in Chicago in my mind. It's like, that's your name?
Oh, yeah.
Then the Ed Sullivan Theater, just your name?
This is the thing that Colbert does, too, is like, we have Paul Simon here tonight, and I'm going to sing with him. Why? Why are you singing
He needs to help Paul Simon. That's the problem.
Colbert sings with Paul people?
Yeah, he'll sing with everybody. Everybody who comes up, Fallon does it too.
Yes.
I knew Fallon did it.
Yeah.
Colbert
will just start singing, and I'm waiting to the point where I get Jim Gaffigan on, and I'm going to do bits of his while he sits here.
All I want is it's gotten far enough, it's never going to go back, but the only thing I ask is for Jimmy Fallon to at least respect the audience enough to stop being surprised that there's a microphone behind your desk.
Right.
Just have it out. Instead of being like, do you mind? And then, we know it's back there. Stop. We're not surprised.
Here's the thing. We've got this magic thing here. I'm going to click it, and it's going to give you all the voices that you do, and then the voices that I do. Why don't you just say I got a fucking impression?
We have a wheel. We spin the wheel.
Spin it! Let's say this.
What's it going to land on?
Surprisingly, I can ace this one.
Yes!
Here, you came in with the voices that you do, and our audience is retards, so they like spinning wheels and noises. So we'll give everybody what they want.
Yeah, that's where we are in the world right now. That's us, though. This is what passes for entertainment.
Well, when Colbert started, when he first started, that was something I was thinking about. Is like, how is he going to set himself aside from Jimmy? Jimmy's doing something very specific, and then as soon as it began, I was like, oh, that's pretty much the same thing he's going to sing with everybody.
He was shooting
games,
laundry bag 3 throws with Steph Curry.
Oh, really?
When I saw that, I was like, all right, it's over.
So,
but Letterman would kick a field goal with a guy. Letterman, he still had some of those classic bits, but Colbert went, he still does political. He stayed, it's almost what you're watching a long version. And also Jon Stewart. Does anybody know why Jon Stewart's an executive producer on that show?
I had no idea.
I
guess he
so
feels
confusing
like he found me. I'm a little money.
Here's $12,000 a week.
Oh man!
Thanks for
everything. I did not know that.
Yeah. Let him wet his beak. I mean, he deserves it. He pulled me out of nowhere. I'll tell you this: that fucking Comedy Central better figure out that those were the guys that knew how to get numbers in their late night, because this should be their time, right?
It's the election.
Yeah, it's the election. Everybody should be going crazy. And you never see or hear what they're doing over there.
It used to be at this point with Jon Stewart, every day there would be a clipping passed around.
Right. One of the things that they got, and Trevor Noah is a funny guy and all that, but he's not from here. So he probably doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if I went over to England and there was like, hey, you keeping an eye on Leicester City? I'm like, yeah, I am. I see they're winning. But I'm not going to live and die with it.
You can't care the most about something while you're also learning about it.
Right.
Something can't be new and the most passionate.
Well, here's where I think is the big difference, is that you can be funny and you can mock it, but part of what was great about Jon Stewart is that there was also that underlying rage behind it. So I think you have that with John Oliver. Like, John Oliver has the ability to make fun of something, but you also can see it actually drives him crazy, and or at least he presents it in a way that he's so passionate about it. Yeah. He wants to show you how ridiculous something is. Whereas I think for Trevor Noah, he's still in that place where it's like, he's joking about, this big circus, but it doesn't infuriate him. And I think that's the big difference.
Tim Knight says that you guys would seriously vote for a comedian for president, Stewart or Mayor. Mayor wouldn't get my vote, but I know that Stewart is a very smart guy, has been following politics and the government for 25 years. That's more than Cruz's experience. That's more than Rubio's experience, and Trump has experience of 0. I guess you could say Hillary is more experienced than Stewart, but I trust Stewart more than I do Hillary.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
I wouldn't think that Stewart would get out and just say something to get votes.
She's the most experienced by far right now.
Yeah.
Also, weird fact, if she's elected president, she'll be the first president who was also a first lady.
Yeah, so it's fun fact. Never come up. I never even thought of that.
People don't even.
But yeah,
it never comes up.
Right. Because I always think of them as the Clinton brothers. But you are right. They're not related by blood. They're related by marriage. I think immediately, if she gets elected, we should just act like we want her daughter to run next. Chelsea! even if you don't want it all, just to make that family think, well, this country is ours. We own it.
It's a trifecta.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like watching LeBron's son play basketball right now. And you're like, yeah, I can just handle this for another 20 years. Bring this kid in, we'll just do it.
Nothing changes.
Tommy Johnagin is performing today, March 18th, and tomorrow, March 19th, at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets and more information.
Or you can see him at the Trenton Railroad Station because he missed his stop. Now, here's the thing: you're only leaving from 34th Street, so you don't have to worry about anything else. There's no other stops in the city once you come in by rail.
It. Yeah. I've got people were giving me, people were treating me. My friends are sending me screenshots of subway maps and New York streets.
Right.
There's just a picture of a cop, just in case I need to know what to look for in case things get bad. They're sending me everything.
Hey, Garrison, what's up, buddy?
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hey, if we're going to have a TV celebrity, I think it should be Mike Rowe. He's very middle of the road. He's very diplomatic. And who wouldn't want to listen to him do at the State of the Union?
Well, here's the problem with Mike Rowe, though. He never really did any of those jobs. I mean, he literally is an actor. And I always thought, he was a guy who did this, and then they, he can also broadcast like they do with the chefs. But Mike Rowe never, he was an actor.
But he's great at listening and agreeing, though.
Well, yeah.
He almost got The Daily Show. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That came out at one point. He sent in posted the rejection letter.
Well, he used to do PM Magazine, which every town had one. Do you remember one of those? And they would have these fake things that would be passed around, and then the host, would be in Chicago or St. Louis or Tampa or Seattle, but they would use the same packaged stuff, but with different hosts. And all your job was to throw it to those packages. You know what I mean? But the thing was, they never put the guy in the studio. He was always on the street and walking. So he'd be like this. A lot of people are wondering today about where is he fucking going? You're on TV.
The walking, talking, presenting a news story or anything in TV is ridiculous. I don't know how it got started. Yeah. It's always uncomfortable. You can see the stiffness in their body as they're trying to stay in frame.
Yeah, the camera guy's like, this shit's heavy. Can you stand still?
Yeah.
I got a tripod over here.
And they're walking slower than any human would ever walk. Like, you would never walk at that clip.
And they're thoughtful. Always thoughtful. I like when they throw it to anybody on the street, like it's a carnival or something, and they're eating. Oh, we're having a great time out here. They have hot dogs. Yeah, we're familiar with it. I don't think this is the news right now. You're doing something different. Hey, Mike, Jersey.
Yeah, Ronnie Fez.
Hey, buddy.
$1 million.
Million.
What's the story with you always saying that North Jersey doesn't know anything about South Jersey?
I'm saying most of the people I know from North Jersey have never been to Wildwood, never been to Cape May, and and I don't blame them because there's beaches in North Jersey. You know, like how far do you travel in California when you're in?
I was saying a tiny radius.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything else. I'm fine. Any sentence that's like, you should try, I stop listening. I've tried everything. I got a place. Whatever you're about to say, I got a place that I already go to.
So you have your home for life, hopefully.
I think I have my home for life. I have I'm a regular at 4 Chipotles just to spread it out a little.
Then you know what? You don't have to prove your bravery to me ever again if you eat with that chain. Because I've never seen another chain get hit with these sicknesses.
It's getting happy.
I got a conspiracy theory. It's the first one. If I die, then we'll know this holds a little water. This is the first conspiracy theory that I've come up with on my own. The Chipotle big local farmers. Users, they were using local farms and local produce, billions and billions of dollars worth of produce here. I wonder who would profit if they had to stop using Monsanto.
I'm sorry, we got cut off. What happened? We're not on the air?
Satellites.
No, it's Monsanto. Monsanto, everyone. Can you hear me?
Sorry, we're not on
the
air.
It's Monsanto.
We're not on the air.
I can't even hear you in the headphones.
I think it's a Monsanto. I think Monsanto poisoned some local farms.
I buy it.
Put
Bob
some E. coli
in
in there?
Jersey.
How do you get it?
Bob.
Yo.
Yeah.
Hey, how about Harrison Ford for president? He plays him in every movie he's in.
Well, this is the funny thing about Harris. Well, we have done an actor before, Ronald Reagan. So an actor thinks a lot less than a comedian. Believe me, I interviewed both. You would never spend an hour with an actor the way we are with Tommy today. They just don't do that. You know?
I got to tell you, too, that Tommy's pinned tweet on Twitter is one of the funniest things I've ever read.
Well, he's
hilarious. Thanks. I pinned it for a reason.
He's hilarious.
Oh, my God. It's so true. It's perfect. Every time I say goodbye to my mom, it's another 25 minutes. Did I tell you that you're dad? And I'm like, oh, my God.
I was going to say the same thing about Blowhard earlier today. You know, people are mad that Harrison Ford is going to play Indiana Jones. People are angry, and they're going, he's 75. And I'm like, yes, but he's also Indiana Jones. Wouldn't you rather see him? Now, Indiana Jones at this age, if you can?
Now, what year is it supposed to come out? How old will he be?
2019.
Yeah.
It comes out in 2019.
Yeah. But it's going to be Indiana Jones in the late 80s.
Yeah.
It
comes out in 2019. It's called The Funeral of Indiana Jones. He's buried with something real important. They got to get him out.
He's in the mummy case.
It belongs in a museum.
They're just talking about him.
Yeah.
Stop. So is there going to be like a sidekick? They got to sidekick him up, right? You can't just have an old guy like that lead a movie.
I would bring Short Round back.
Oh my God, please.
He was the favorite of all his sidekick.
I love Short Round.
Dr. Joel! I acted like a stereotype for you! Get over here, Cha-Cha! He's the best.
Is that him now?
Yeah.
No. That looks like that other guy from
No,
the
I
Ron
think
Howard
you just
movie.
did something pretty...
Yeah, that's the guy who says...
I think...
that can't be Short Round. That's the guy who says...
Did you just Google two Asians next to each other?
That's the guy from 60 Candles.
Yeah. And then he was also...
Is he in Johnny? No.
There's no way.
Is he in Short Circuit also?
They don't look alike. The child and the adult don't look like the same person.
Fucking racism.
Is he dead?
No, he's
he's not
great.
dead. He's fine. He's great. But you know what? That cast gets a lot of, they don't like that particular Indiana Jones, and I don't know why. That was the one I liked when I was a kid.
Oh,
but
is that
everyone
right?
says that one
Temple
stinks.
of Doom.
I love
Oh, really? Same here.
Yeah, I love Short Round. I love the blonde that everyone hates.
I liked Short Round because he didn't have feelings of his own only through Indiana Jones. So if like Indiana Jones felt good, he felt good. Like, that Dr. Jones, you better be good then. So he only cared about Indiana Jones, not himself.
And the blonde was great too. Everyone always hates her, but
Spielberg married her.
Oh my God, is he nuts? That's my one-line impression.
All
The
right, I
blonde.
want to hear it again though, because it's pretty good.
Oh my God, is he nuts? That's it.
Literally the last role that her husband let her have. He married her and then stuck her into a fucking house, chained her to something, and that's it. What's her name? Because
Is that the one he's married to?
Yeah.
She looked crazy at this last award show.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Kate Capshaw.
Capshaw.
What was the last? What did we just watch? The Oscars?
Oscars, yeah.
Look her up at the Oscars, and it is not pretty.
Let's see how she's doing. Okay, that's a weird outfit for sure.
Okay.
She's
Wait till they get a load of me.
That's matching your foundation is very important.
Is that what she did
It's
wrong?
very important.
I mean,
I dig the hair though.
Yeah.
well, first of all, she's got the haircut of someone who stuck gum in it, and they just had to get it out. But the other thing here, she's 90 years old. Her face is not supposed to be that way.
Well, that's California, isn't it, though?
Yeah, there's so much of it out there. You can see the neck, though. The age really comes through in the crease in that neck.
Yeah, the neck and the hands is how you can always tell.
I get it on the Upper East Side, too. I was walking to work yesterday, and a woman comes down. It looks like she was holding two things, and she just had two ice packs on each eye.
Jesus
And
Christ.
both when I got close to her, I saw that both eyes were blackened from whatever they did to her.
Nose job or something.
She's just walking down the street with not like, don't look at me. You know?
Yeah, this is weird now, but I'm going to look amazing when it heals.
Well, the funny thing about all this work is now we recognize that look, that very strange, like pulled back face, as the look of an older woman. So now it doesn't look youthful. You see somebody with a tight face, you're like, that person's old,
It's
even
an old
though
person
they
with a
don't.
tight face.
Yeah. So now tight face equals the same thing as wrinkly face. It just means you're old.
Oh, look at her in her magician's hat.
That's cool.
Little hobo Kate. Little hobo Kate.
Oh my God. That hat? Is she nuts?
Jeez Louise.
Now I got to go watch that to see how good your impression is. All right, this is some of the stuff that people tweeted us. Would you vote for Dennis Miller, the original Jon Stewart? I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh.
I don't know what he's up to.
Saw him walking outside Fox News a couple of years ago. Nothing since then.
Short Round is too busy being Glenn on The Walking Dead. No, listen to this. Patty says this to us. I understand that Geddy Lee's voice can be polarizing, but from a musician's point of view, Rush is the best Canadian band. Okay, Patty. Way to stay on topic. That's great. All right, we got a break here. We're back with Unmasked. Chris.
With Bonnie McFarlane. Bonnie McFarlane, You're Better Than Me, a memoir, is available now in stores and online. And My Wife Hates Me airs Tuesdays at 7 p.m. East on Opie Radio, XM 103, Sirius 206. And on Twitter, it's at Bonnie McFarlane.
At Bonnie McFarlane. We were just did this down at the Underground. Have you ever worked that club in...
Is that the new next to the cellar?
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet.
Really, really, I think one of the great
I've heard
clubs.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that kind of like... It used to be an old folk club years and years ago. And it's like a real place.
It has history.
It has history.
They're building a lot of these new improvs on the road where the history is like, this used to be a Toby Keith's I Love This Bar. I'm like, oh man, I love a venue if I can smell it.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a chain. There was Toby Keith had I Love This Bar.
It's called I Love This Bar and Grill, I believe. They're dead now. Believe it or not. You didn't get a chance to eat at them.
Yeah, too bad. I know I want to take Chris to a cheeseburger in Paradise because he's a huge Buffett fan.
Hate Jimmy Buffett.
He loves hate Jimmy Buffett.
Not a fan of his crazy work.
I'll say this: I think Jimmy Buffett could be elected president.
I'm certain.
Yeah, he might even be president. For all I know. I don't really keep up with the news.
Yeah, there'd be a merch table outside of each voting booth.
Making that kid in a sweater for Baltimore to sell him. All right, we're back with Unmasked. Tommy Johnagin, always
Thanks,
great
guys.
to see you, buddy. See you next time coming through.
Are you ready? From the legendary club, the Village Underground in New York City, this is Sirius XM's Unmasked with special guest Bonnie McFarlane. Bonnie has appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman, co-hosts the podcast My Wife Hates Me, and has just released her new memoir, You're Better Than Me. Sirius XM and the Village Underground are proud to introduce Bonnie McFarlane. And now, here's your host of Unmasked, Ron Bennington.
Bonnie McFarlane, everybody. Check out this. She's written a book.
I wrote a book.
You wrote a book called You're Better Than Me.
Yes, I know a lot of people have a problem with the title because it's grammatically incorrect. But I didn't know it was grammatically incorrect until it hit the cover of the book.
There was nobody there at the company to say, hey, this isn't English.
No, nobody said it. And then until, I started getting tweets. It should be You're Better Than I Am.
Proving once again.
Yes.
They're better than you.
Yeah, that's true.
No, now you feel...
141 IQ.
Yeah. That's the same CD that he's carried around now for 5 years.
Right before he cornered me, and he was like, you do this for me.
Yeah. It's like having a used Cadillac in the driveway. Still for sale, everybody. You know what is great? I shouldn't even say it's great about the book, but the lack of Rich Voss in this book is stunning.
Yeah. Well, it's because I got the book deal through Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Who didn't know me through Rich Voss. He just knew me because I roasted him on this big roast, and I was really mean to him. And then so the next day gave me a book deal. I've been mean to every celebrity I've met ever since. Nothing. So then the agent, my literary agent said, just write up until, you get married and stuff. 'Cause she did know about Rich Voss.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause you want to have a happy ending.
Yes.
But here's the thing, you're saying that, Bourdain didn't know about Rich, but he didn't know about the family cow, and you did 3 chapters on that, man.
I know. That's too much. No, he had no idea. I don't know why he asked me to write a book. He goes, I've never met a woman who had a voice like yours, which was, I guess, mean and with a lot of swearing. And then, so I said, well, should I do a book of essays? And he said, no, just write about your life. So I was like, okay. But he didn't know about it. He sort of just took a chance, I guess.
Well, it's, I remember when I read Bourdain's book when it came out, Kitchen Confidential, which changed his life, and was such a great book.
Yes.
And then in the foreword, he gets the fact that you're that kind of a writer yourself. I mean, you're really, really a great writer, and it's different from your on-stage comedy voice.
Yeah, because I'm not good at all at comedy.
So helpful.
I finally found the thing I can do. No, I didn't. I've always really loved writing. I just a book is fucking. It is like at the beginning you're like this is funny, and then somewhere around like 100 pages you're like I can't fucking do this. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean when you've taken the time to look back over your life, the good things, the bad things, and that seems almost impossible. I mean, for me, I lie so much about the past, I couldn't possibly.
You do. There's a lot of unraveling. Well,
yeah.
That's the thing, because I read this. It's your memory is really you're just taking a snapshot of a snapshot of a snapshot. So every time you remember it, that's just like a new memory. So none of this is true.
Right.
Is basically what I'm saying. No, I mean it's hard to remember. It's like a muscle that you have to work.
Well, I mean, you talk about your childhood, and it really is different than anybody else's that I know anyway, because you're so fucking poor and just backwoods Canadian.
I know. It's like the 1800s.
It is. You're like a Mennonite in it. Where, I was thinking like in my neighborhood, you couldn't even buy the wrong kind of sneakers, and your mom made your dress.
Yes.
And then you wore it to school.
Yes. And got in a fight about it.
How
and
could
then
you not?
I won that fight about it.
Yeah.
And then she wanted one of those dresses. And then I said, fuck you.
That's the way of becoming friends after you get punched in the face. Can I get one of those dresses somewhere?
I know.
But it was, like, I think the people that know you from your stand-up have no idea of your, like, social anxiety. And that had to come from when you were a kid, right?
I guess. Well, my father has social anxiety really badly. Like he had to go to a funeral once, and he had to go get on a plane, and he fainted before he got on the plane. He's like, he can't handle, but he's like, he drinks to sort of get over it, which was a great lesson he passed down to me.
Medicine.
It works wonderfully. Could I get a little more medicine? No, but he's a good drunk. Like, he's a fun drunk. He's one of those guys that, gives you money. And he would always my sisters and I would let us take the car. Go, have fun. Live your lives, girls,
So you grew up, like a lot of people who grow up with somebody who drinks a lot, they whine about it, but those were the best days for you.
Dad's
we
were always, well, because my father got cancer, pretty early on in my life. And, so he couldn't drink the way that he used to. So it was rare. It was pretty rare. But when he did it up because he knew he was going to get sick either way. So it's like, okay, let me do this.
Yeah.
He had cancer. He had chemo, and he would stink like chemo whenever he sweated. Did you know that happens? Interesting. It smells like onions. Yeah. So there was not a lot of hugging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can see how this is a comedic memoir, right? Dad is drunk and stinks like onions. All over my new sewn dress by Mom. It's so sad.
Wait till we get into the killing of the animals.
And you, did you have a TV in that house? Were you connected to the outside world at all?
Almost no.
Yeah.
We got a TV later in my life, but we were still so rural that we didn't have any channels or anything.
Right.
So
nothing could reach out there.
Yeah, we had the French channel came in crystal clear. I don't know why that happens, like in LA, the Spanish, the Mexican channels come in so well on the radio. Is that I'm only one from the West Coast? No, so we got, and yet we would watch the French channel all the time and not learn a fucking lick of French. Just refused to do it. No,
I doubt French people even speak French. I think they're
so true.
They're just fucking around with everybody.
Yes.
So you, how did you even become aware that there was a thing called stand-up comedy? I mean, when you're that, you're born in a different century, basically.
I didn't know about it. I didn't know that was a thing. And then I did see stand-up when I was about 21, and I was like, this is unbelievable. And it's funny because I remember the show so clearly, and there was a woman, there was an MC that I thought was fantastic because he could talk to the audience. I mean, now looking back, it was probably like a hacky MC guy, but I was like, he's great. And then a woman came on, and we all just waited for her to be done. So true. We were like, okay, be nice. And then the headliner came on, and he was I didn't even have any idea of what he was talking about, and I was laughing so hard. It was so great. And then it turned out, years later, my boyfriend, when I lived in Los Angeles, had a poker game once a week, and he'd been coming to this poker game every week. And I just happened to say the joke that I heard, from the first time I saw stand-up, and my boyfriend was like, "Oh my God, that's Stanley," and it was the guy. I've been hanging out with him.
So you had no idea after all those years that this was the guy that changed your life, basically.
Yes,
right?
he was. Yes,
because you had never seen Letterman or anything like that. You'd never knew people did this for a living until this one night.
I'm sure that I remember my friend had an album of somebody, George Carlin, and we listened to it, and I didn't understand what it was. I couldn't figure out what it was. What is it? What's he doing? Yeah.
Because you hadn't been exposed to humor yet.
Yeah, I didn't know. Why isn't he killing something? I don't get it.
You're almost Mork. You know that? You really are almost an alien to this planet.
So David Feldman said it was a feral comic. I had no influences. Yeah. But I do remember seeing, I was at a friend's house one time, and a Monty Python movie was on, and I was like, what is it? It was so amazing to me, and I couldn't, they were like, it's just a movie. I was like, my face was melting. I couldn't take it. But I'm proud of myself that even then I knew that was good.
You knew that the Python was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But George Carlin.
I'm sorry. Well, nothing ever became of that guy, so don't worry about it. He just went away.
Yeah.
Stanley, on the other hand, household name. Stanley. And that MC. And the woman was Joan Rivers. So,
when's this gonna be over?
I thought, you talking about doing stand-up in Canada, and then your first road gigs, being in Northern Canada. Everyone knows it's awful to start stand-up. It's awful to be the middle act on the road. But when you're up that part of the world, where it's a rough place.
Yeah, it was, we spent a lot of time in the car. We would drive, sometimes we would drive 9 hours to the next gig. It wasn't like you'd stay in a place for a week.
Yeah.
It was a one night here, drive, one night, drive. It was crazy. And, I I was doing really early on in my career, like half an hour at a time. And I just think back, like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I can't do half an hour now. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
And you're doing it to like fishermen and oil workers and just hard ass Canada people.
Yeah, there was. We went to a place where I remember one time where it was there was a mine and the mine had closed, so it was very. Yeah, it was like. And then the girl was an all girls tour that we were on, and the girl that was the headliner of the show. I say that because she was like, "Can somebody do my time?" She was like, but she started off by saying like, "Oh, so the canary died." People were not happy about it. They were really upset. And then during that tour, I can't believe so many things I remember. Now I'm remembering this whole thing. This is not in the book. This is an exclusive. No. So she was, I don't know if this is true, but this is what she told us. So she took off one night. We couldn't find her. And she said she like left the bar. And this is a very small town. In fact, I do write about the town in the book. Yeah. They, I went into the hotel and they gave me a hotel. I went into the room and it was huge. And then, like, I figured out why it was huge because there's no bed. There's no bed. And then I went down and I was like, there's no bed. And the guy was like, oh, nobody stayed here in 4 years. It was a ghost town. And so she went out, she found somebody, some guy picked her up in a truck and she was like, please kill me. And the guy wouldn't do it. That's Canada for you. It's like, no, not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the time, did you feel like you were in show business?
No.
Were you like,
no, I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't show business. I didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even, this is the most show business I've ever felt right here.
This is it tonight?
This is it.
Wow.
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful, folks? You know what? I was thinking about that because reading this book, I mean, she is a real long shot. It's a real long shot to go. And then here we are at the Village Underground. You're talking about your book. And the only thing that rings of anything to me is that we're using your grandmother's old chairs to sit on.
I know. I specifically asked for these. It's very comforting to me. These are way nicer than what we had. Are you kidding me?
This is the chair Grandma died in right here. But there's like, I'm reading the book and I'm just thinking to myself, quit. Do not keep doing this. Stop yourself.
I know.
Isn't that funny about stand? I mean, you could do that with any stand-up. If you listen to their story, you would think, but this is the time a sane person quits.
You know, that is absolutely true. Because you have to be shitty for so long.
Right.
Or in my case, I had to be shitty for so long that,
right.
Yeah, any normal I mean, in a way, my childhood, I'm just figuring this out now.
Good,
this is such a good therapy session. But my childhood, like the hardships that I went through, it probably helped me keep going in stand up because I was like, well, it's still fine.
Right.
I mean, I have electricity and stuff.
Yes, that is true. Any failure you have in life, I mean, you could be bankrupt or just have Cossacks running through your house, and it still would be better than your childhood. Like, there's war babies going, I couldn't fucking live like this.
I know.
This is horrible. No outside food.
I know. Everything was from the farm. Literally. You'd look at the table
right
from the farm.
But a lot of times you're like, that smells delicious. What do we have? And you're like, no, that's from chemo. That's just onions. Nothing's cooking. There's no food tonight, Bonnie.
Your father's sweating. That's all that's happening.
And it literally would be the best smelling thing in this house. Like, nothing smelled better. You're like, can we all go down and smell Dad now?
For your bedtime snack, go down and smell your father. Yeah.
Well, this is the other really bizarre thing about your career, because you go from like dying, and then you kill sometimes at the most appropriate times.
Well, sometimes I have that thing where I don't know, it's like for Rich, he doesn't want to know if there's somebody important in the room because he won't, he'll get nervous. But sometimes I need to know there's somebody important there to even just fucking try.
Sure.
I'm like, brother. It's Chris Rock here because I don't feel like doing this right now.
But, Rich also thinks someone important in the room is his mailman. So he's like, got to do well tonight. But you, at those times that a lot of people, it's just it's the exact opposite for most people because they feel like they've got their act together, get the opportunity, and then it blows. But you, very early on, how early on did you win the big contest that
within the first year, like before I'd even been doing it a year.
And what was the name of the contest?
It's a really big contest.
Yeah.
It's called Funniest Comic in Canada.
Oh, it's funniest.
There's more than 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're thinking.
A lot of funny people come out of Canada.
Yeah, it's the funniest new comic in Canada. It's even worse. Yeah. But yeah, I did that contest right after I started doing stand up, and my boyfriend had cheated on me and was that was like a thing. So I was thinking about him. I totally had my head was not in the game. So of course, I just kept winning.
And when that happened, how did that change your life?
So then I got a free ticket to Toronto. And I got a big TV, which I was living in a garage at the time, so I couldn't keep the TV. So I gave it to my friend, and then I moved to. I cashed in the return. I just stayed in Toronto. So went to Toronto.
Didn't want to go back to the garage with the big wet puddle on the floor.
Yeah, there was a big wet puddle on the floor.
Still better than her childhood.
Still was fine. I was still like, well, it's not that bad. But I would sit in that garage on my mattress in the floor of the garage, and I'd be like, oh, what can I write about? What's interesting? Oh, nothing. Nothing is interesting about me.
And I'm thinking, I'm reading the book, and I'm like, just start the car and lay there. Just start the car, lay in the garage.
But there was only a motorcycle.
What would it have taken longer?
Yeah, it would have taken a bit. I love that you're like advocating. Why didn't you kill yourself?
It just seemed like a good idea.
Yes.
I just didn't want to see you in any more pain.
Never crossed my mind.
But going to Toronto, you're in a real city, and it's popping, and it's cool. And how was that?
And then it was good because there was a lot more comedy going on there, and I got to see a lot of different comedians, and then I decided not good enough. I'm going to the States, and so I saw a TV show called Caroline's Comedy Hour. Should I tell this story?
Yes, please do.
And then I just called like information. I was like, I need a number in New York, Caroline's Comedy Club. And they gave me, I got through, and then I was like, who books the show? And I finally ended up getting through to this guy, Joe Falzerano, who's the booker of the TV show, Caroline's Comedy Hour. And I was like, I want to do your show. And I don't know why he was amused by me for some reason. Well, first he asked me if I was cute. So I said, I don't have a full-length mirror. I can't afford it. So then he said, well, listen, I have some workmen in my office. They were fixing a ceiling or something. He said, if you can make them laugh, I'll put you on speaker, then you can do the show. So I didn't know it was weird. I was like, all right, I guess this is how it's done. I just started going there with jokes in my book and did a little crowd work with the workmen. I could hear them laughing. I knew I was killing. I was like, oh, I'm doing great. And then he goes, okay, you got the show. And then that's how so then I went to Caroline's.
You went to New York how did you get here? Did you fly in or?
I tried to take a bus first. the cheaper option, and they turned me away at the border. Because I only bought a one-way ticket, and they said that's encouraging vagrancy in the U.S., so they wouldn't let me through. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, it is.
I was like, I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
Of a TV show. The guy was like, I know he thought I was crazy. I was just like, and then I was like, look at my jokes. They did go through my notebooks. They were like, this. And I was like, that one's not done yet. Not that one. The next page is a lot better.
It wouldn't have been any weirder if they would have given you an HBO special, though. Because you don't get booked on TV shows over the phone.
I know. So I know. It's weird.
That's something a child would do. Just call up and say, "Can I
be on a show?" I know, but the guy was like, I don't know what I said to him. Then I was like, I want on your show.
So you hadn't even done any. You've done comedy for a year. You win the.
I won that. I did have that one credit.
Yeah, that one credit.
Best new comic in Canada.
Yeah. Before the snows.
Best new. Yes. In the summer months.
But then you get a TV show, which, by the way, that show, the people who wrote for that show and the careers that they went on, is like Susie Essman was on that show, and Jon Stewart, and Louis, I think, and Tell, Colin, all those guys had written and
They wrote on that show?
Yeah, they wrote on that show, and they'd done
Because I
sets.
met one of the writers of that show, but I don't remember who it was. I just know that he was unattractive.
It was.
That's all I remember.
It was George Carlin. That's who you met. This guy sucks.
He's terrible.
He's just awful.
All that wordplay. Ooh.
Now, Stanley.
Can I tell you Stanley's opening joke, though? It was pretty brilliant.
Right.
He came on stage, and he didn't say anything, and he just, he had the stool there, and he had his coffee, and he started fixing his coffee, and I think he had a paper, maybe, and was looked at his paper a little bit, and the audience is starting to giggle, what, how come he's not looking at us, talking to us, It went on for a long time, and then he goes, oh, when you go to work, do you start right away? The audience fell out.
Yeah.
It was genius.
Yeah.
I don't think George Carlin ever did something like that.
Somewhere Stanley's very happy that after all these years it's still killing.
Yes,
that joke.
his timing was impeccable.
Well, what was it like just coming into New York, Midnight Cowboy, just...
It was crazy. Well, okay, so I can't fix it. So a manager had written me a letter earlier before I called Caroline's, and I didn't know what a manager was, so I just ignored the letter. And but then when the Caroline's guy said, "Hey, do you have a manager?" and I just said the guy's name, Jeff Sussman, who's still a manager, very good comedy manager, and then I called Jeff Sussman, 2 long-distance calls. I was serious about this shit. Yeah.
Sure.
And so I said, I just told Caroline's you were my manager, and he goes, because I am. He didn't miss a beat. He was like, we're doing this. And so then he was like, well, you can come and stay with me. And then I was a little concerned about that, and so he let me talk to his fiance on the phone, and then I was fine with it. I was like, my girl likes him.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, right, because there's no such thing as menages, so that's great.
Yes. I don't know why I was like, all right. So I went and stayed with a perfect stranger in New York, and did the show. Totally bombed on the show. Well, I took cinnamon. I made cinnamon buns because I grew up on a farm, and I was nervous. So I was like, how do I calm my nerves? So I made 18 fucking batches of cinnamon buns. And I took them to the show. I don't know. When I think back on it, I do see how crazy it is. But at the time, I didn't. That's what you do when you're going somewhere.
Yeah. Well, they say most TV shows expect the guests to show up with baked goods.
I don't know why.
It wasn't a fucking funeral.
I really thought people were going to be like, oh my God, look at this gal. What a great gal. Bring it. But people didn't care about the cinnamon buns. And then they would be like, where's that icing? And I'd be like, they don't need the fucking icing.
Oh, you don't do icing up there?
We didn't, no icing. You just, it's good. Come on.
Good. No. I know a lot of stand-ups before they go on TV want to have a cinnamon bun or two. You know, kind of bloat up, slow yourself down. It's the worst idea ever.
It's so stupid. I don't know why I did it. I really thought it was going to like endear me to people. And it didn't. People were like looking at me like I was batshit crazy.
You got cinnamon buns, you got a homemade dress, you got a straw hat with a fucking price tag on it.
Ready to perform, eh? Yeah.
So what was like being that young, going out and not having the set that you wanted to have?
Well, I cried, so I was very happy before the set. It was like, I was talking to her, I was like, I don't know, maybe because I had too much sugar from the cinnamon buns, but I was like, to everyone, and then right after the set, I was in the bathroom just fucking bawling my eyes out, and it just was bad. And then they made you go back on stage after your set so they can do the opening credit thing where they have the person's face going like, or something. So you had to do a little like thing. And, so they came, the PA or producer or whatever came to get me out of the bathroom, and she was like, oh, like when I came out, because I didn't know my makeup was. So then the makeup lady came and tried to fix it, and then I went on stage and I was like, you know when you can't smile because you're crying? And then the cameraman kept going, just a little longer. He felt bad, but it was like, I gotta get this. So if you go see the footage, you'll see that, and then me just bomb.
Anyone that was watching the show thought you came in with a bad attitude, like, oh, this kid isn't ready. She was crying.
She's crying before she even starts. It's like she knows it's like what's about to happen.
Someone has forced this poor hayseed to come in and do something she doesn't want to do. It's not right.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
One of the things that you talk in is how about that is true of anybody who's ever moved here, is how tough it is to get used to New York City. And in your case, you wanted to make some female comedian friendships, and just I was bombing on all fronts. I was bombing on stage. I couldn't seem to make female friends in comedy, like comedian friends. And I remember like saying to Sarah after one of her shows, I was like, when I saw her on stage, I thought, this is it. She's going to be my best friend. We're both fantastic. Cinnamon bun?
I know. Got some left over. But she dealt with a heckler. She didn't have a great set. She had to deal with a heckler, but she was really funny dealing with the heckler. But she was mad when she came off stage, but I didn't care. I was like, hey, Sarah, you're so fantastic. And she was like, oh, thanks. And like, left the thing. And I was like, see you later. So that didn't work out. And then, there was another woman that I did a show on Long Island, and there was never ever two women on the same show ever. That only just started happening in the last 6 months. There was never any, and so it was crazy that I was the middle act. I think she was the MC, and I tried to befriend her the whole weekend. She wanted nothing to do with me. I don't know why. I was like, maybe I was too needy. But finally I got her to give me her phone number. And then the next Monday, during, my times when I was like, hey, hi. I was like, oh, I love your coat. Where'd you get your coat? I was just always bombarding her with compliments. You're fantastic. And then, she was like, oh, I go to thrift stores to get this. And so I called her on Monday and I was like, hey, it's Bonnie. I thought maybe we could like hit up some thrift stores. And she was like, she goes, you know what? I kind of have enough friends. I had to keep seeing her, like in clubs, and be like,
"Hey,
I'm going to go over there because I know probably have some friends coming over here." It's like super awkward.
Yes, it's a comedy memoir of just how great it is to be in the world.
It's a wonderful profession.
Yeah, isn't it great? But you do. This is the thing I think that works in the book so well, is because you explain that kind of pain so well.
I do.
Yes, it's horrifying, actually. It made me check in with my friends to make sure I was okay. With my store-bought clothes.
Yes.
But I think that's what really, like, if you could play a drinking game on how many pages is Bonnie happy and never get drunk, you know? It just doesn't happen.
Is it? Okay, because
Yeah.
my mom was like, oh, it's so sad. And I was like, it is? I didn't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess this is just like I have a low-grade unhappiness going all the time. I don't realize.
I don't think it's low grade. There's a pretty strong amount of unhappiness.
My marriage to Rich Voss make more sense?
Yes.
I had to keep getting a little too happy there.
Bring it down.
Bring it down.
Yeah. Now, how did your family react to the book? Are they excited about it?
Well, I did an interview yesterday on Canadian radio, and then my sister heard it, my oldest sister Audrey, who I've had problems with in the past because, I don't know, Rich and I talked about her on one of our podcasts, one of her very first podcasts. Rich and I talked about her because she's type A. She's type A. We clash a lot. So, I'm sure she's like really a wonderful person to other people. No, but, so who's going to think my family doesn't listen or pay attention to anything that I do. But right after that podcast, I got an email from her that was like, a podcast, Bonnie. And at first I just thought she meant like, have you sunk that low? You're doing podcasts now. But no, somehow she heard it, and then we didn't talk for like 3 years. Yeah. And then it was like Rich and her, it was like a whole thing. And then I talked to her one other time very briefly, and then yesterday I talked to her on the phone about the book, and she couldn't have been more like, she was like, well, I mean, I don't know why you wrote some of the things you wrote in there, but I guess you had to, they pay you have to fill pages, so it was a little like that.
Yeah. So was it family stuff that they were concerned about, or?
Yeah, and then she thought I painted her. I didn't paint her great.
Yeah.
In the book, but I said, I don't know how to get out. How do you get out of it after you? I was like, oh, I'm kind of an asshole. I said to her, I go, you have to make everybody a character a little bit. I don't know what to say. I've always hated you. Why can't you see that? No. And then my mom, I thought my mom might be upset because they're very private. It was a complicated thing because they don't like me talking about them. But then on the other hand, I was worried that they would think I didn't talk about them enough.
Right.
In the books. I felt like I was really, and so my mom said, Bonnie, I've read a lot of books. I said, yeah. She goes, this is not the worst one. So I'm going to use that on the blurb.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah.
Well, there are things in there that are fairly brutal about, some of the things that happened to you, but you wanted to put everything out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I forgot a lot of stories, but the ones I remembered. I didn't think about not putting things in because I just thought it happened to me. It's my life,
right?
Do you? Are you leading me?
No, I'm not leading you at all. I mean, because some of these things, here's what I think: it's probably easier to write than talk about.
Well, I was I was sexually assaulted when I was young, when I was 17, and then I got pregnant. I had to go get an abortion. Hilarious.
It is.
It's really funny, you guys.
Sadly, it is the funniest part of the whole book. It's
I'm really good about writing about stuff like that. So that was the part my sister was like, why would you write that? I was like, I don't know. So I wrote about that. What was the question?
Well, I was.
Oh.
Yeah.
I rewrote like the rest of the book a lot, because I did like work on it. I guess I'm not a natural writer. Like I had to really hone but that part I just wrote it one time and then I just left. I couldn't,
Yeah.
I never think about it.
But the fact is you did want to put those kind of things in the book as well.
Well, part of it is, it sounds self-serving maybe, but I talk about, rape and stuff in my act, and I think it's okay to do rape jokes, and I also, I talk about my sister who's, I have one sister who's mentally handicapped and one sister who's stupid. I talk about them in my act. No, I talk about, I feel like I've earned the right to talk about the things I feel like talking about.
Right.
And, like when you're on stage, you can't be like, it's fine, I was raped. It's okay. But,
But that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about in the book that actually makes it like an incredible story. You know what I mean? You have an incredible life story because it's not just good things. It's some rough things, but then there's amazing things thrown in and out. I think one of the best things that you write about is Montreal Comedy Festival, where suddenly everybody in show business is coming at you because of one set.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also incredibly rare for that kind of Star is Born weird moment to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I'd been bombing so much in New York. I was really getting depressed about it. I remember Jim Gaffigan, who we were friends, and he said to me, he goes, after he found out I got the Montreal Comedy Festival, he goes, things are going to change now for you. They really will. And I was like, yeah, please.
Yeah.
I did not believe him. But then, so then I went to the Montreal Comedy Festival and, I did my set, and I was so used to bombing. I bombed my first 2 jokes, and I was just like, well, just get through it. But then I started killing. Like, at some point, I really started doing well, and when I came off stage, there was people there, like ABC. They were like, I'm with so-and-so. I'm with Letterman. I'm with SNL. And they're trying to give me their cards. It was pretty cool. And then I went outside. These 2 guys, they said, let your manager deal with it. It was Jeff Sussman, still Jeff Sussman. And they said, let your manager deal with it. And they took me outside, and we smoked pot together. I was like, I finally have friends. And one good set.
Yeah.
Good. And they were agents from William Morris.
Yeah.
And they became my agents. Yeah.
Which is so crazy. And now that takes you from New York to LA.
So then I moved to Los Angeles.
Again, no one in Los Angeles. You just head out there.
I knew Sarah Silverman, who still wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah. You know what? Seriously, a lot of those things are sadder than the rape. And I'm not even making that up. I just wanted to see you make a friend. Even during the rape, I'm like,
at least the rapist wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah. But that is one of the things, like, you get this weird thing that keeps happening in your life that you're just thrown out of one situation into the next, and you basically go from being broke to being offered a TV show.
Well, then, I got a deal for $175,000, and I remember my manager when he put the money in my bank. I don't think I had a bank account before that. I mean, I was really
not an American one.
Crazy.
You're like, how many loonies is this?
I know.
He's like 3, 4.
No, I swear, my friend and I did check cashing and stuff in Canada. I don't think we ever had bank accounts. It's a socialist country. Get ready for it. You guys are about to experience the same thing. Then I remember he said, don't spend it all in one place or something.
Right.
I mean, and I bought a pillow. That was my big. I'm gonna sleep. Yeah.
And what was LA like for you? Was that?
LA was pretty depressing when I first got there. I didn't know anybody. It wasn't like New York where you just go out and walk around and hang out and spend the day. Then my boyfriend came out, and so then things got a little bit worse. But he knew a lot of people, so that was good. And they introduced me to a lot of people.
Because you've dated a lot of comics.
I don't know. I don't like your use of the term "a lot."
More than a healthy amount.
I dated a healthy amount of comedians. Thank you. No, I like dating. I've always dated comedians because I just. I've said this before. It's like, but I don't want to talk about anything else. I don't want to have to talk about your job for half the time. You know what I mean? It's just,
like a doctor would bore you.
Yes. Ugh. Yeah. Shut up. Just give me the pills.
Yeah.
Go away. But I really honestly don't understand why everyone doesn't date within their profession.
Like the Clintons.
Yes, I mean it must be amazing. Just come home.
Yeah,
he gets it.
Actually, I didn't even think this. You and Rich Voss are the comedy Clintons. No one really has picked up on that yet.
And it's my time now. God damn it!
Yeah. There it is.
141 IQ. Selling them for $10. Is it 10?
Yeah. You know how happy he just got then too?
This dumb thing.
Yeah, I understand.
What did you say? Something rude. I don't like the way that guy's laughing when you said. It makes me...
I would go over and help you with the mic, but I don't know if I can get out of this grandma chair. It's like my spine is shaped like the back of it now. But you actually ended up getting your own show.
So then I got my own I auditioned for a show. Then it's not like they made it. That deal, nothing ever happened.
Nothing happened with...
No, I didn't meet with one person. They gave me the money and then they just completely ignored me. I don't get how show business works, even now. They just wouldn't...
Do you know how many, great people have gotten those deals over and over, and they never get shows, and people are like, oh, that guy, nothing ever happened with him, and he's, making more money than anyone he went to high school with. He's just getting there getting checks. And being held.
Getting served out on his veranda.
Yeah.
Some nice tea. There you go.
Yeah, that happens to so many people, But for you... The TV show it didn't make you, obviously, like everything, it didn't make you happy.
You know what it was? I feel like now I have to defend myself. Thanks, Ron. I feel like I was just constantly being in these situations where people thought I knew what was going on, or maybe I gave the impression that I knew. Mm-hmm. But I had no idea. I remember being on that TV show and I kept going. They'd say, you need to move stage left. And I'd be like, which way is that again? And the other woman that was on the show would just be like, oh my God. She thought I was doing it just to be cute or something. Like, oh, please stop. It's annoying. And it was just overwhelming. And
what was the name of the show?
I really don't want to say. I really don't want people to look it up. It was called Social Studies.
Listen to the crowd. Hold on, let them applaud. No.
Can I tell a story that I just remembered that is not in the book? Why didn't I write stuff that was good? So I was one time coming from Vancouver back into the U.S. and so I had to show my green card, and I'd always get, not my green card, I had a working visa, and I'd always get searched, or I don't know why I was somehow, always targeted. So this time I decided I'm going to be bold and I'm just going to be like, because I was on this TV show, I was like, I'm an actress. So I get up in line and they go, what do you do? Or whatever. And I was like, I'm an actress. And then I got through so easily. I was like, ooh, that's how you do it, you know. And I was carrying my bag along, and this dog kept trying to get on my bag. And I was like, can you get your dog down? And then it was the drug dog. Yes. I had, been partying pretty hard in Vancouver, but I didn't know if I had drugs in that bag, because I thought, maybe somebody, because we were in my hotel room at one point, where there was a bunch of people, and I was like, did somebody put drugs in my bag, like as a little gift for me? So they take me into this room and they're like, okay, you can tell us that you have drugs in your bag and we'll go a lot easier on you, or we can find the drugs in your bag and then you're going to be in a whole lot of shit. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know which window, like which door do I really thought I should just say, there's drugs in there, you know? But I was like, I don't think so. And then, so they didn't find any drugs, but while the guy was out, like they have to check your credit cards for drugs and stuff. There's two guys still standing there and they were going, so what do you do? And I was like, I'm an actress. Like less bold. And, they were like, what's the show? And I said, it's called Social Studies. And the guy goes, I never heard of it. And the other guy goes, I have. Like that. And the other guy goes, is it good? And the guy goes, like, I'll tell you later. I guess I'm not.
There's, by the way, them asking you, there's never been a case where a cop has said, like to a judge, well, she did tell us there were drugs in the bag, so please don't search her.
Yes.
Just let this thing go.
Let it happen.
Yeah. The only thing to say is, I don't know, ask my lawyer if there's fucking drugs in the bag, because no one should, look, one fucking guy who's got the same philosophy as me. Fuck you, I ain't saying shit. That ain't my gun, that ain't my coke. Which I'm hoping to call my book.
Is this just going to be me laughing into a mic?
No, you've been terrific all night. You've been fantastic. And by the way, even though it ain't good English, You're Better Than Me is out, and everybody will be getting a signed copy of this tonight.
What? Who's signed by Rich Voss?
Yeah. Also, there's a deal if you want to buy a CD with it.
It's only $10.
Yeah. But I know you did something with Jim Gaffigan. Have you done the book signings? Have you sat there and had person after person come up to you? Is that a fun thing for you, or?
Yeah.
You like it?
They do these book signings at these bookstores, and like they flew me out to LA. They put me up in a hotel. They get me a rental car, and I did a book signing at Skylight Books in LA, and like 30 people show up. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why are they putting their money into that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, a lot of people buy Kindle books, and I don't know whether you could fucking sign someone's Kindle. Could you? Is that?
I mean, I guess the thing is you have to fly somewhere to a bookstore. Right. They just don't have them anymore.
They're not it's like trying to find a comedy club in Canada. Why don't we do a couple signings while we're sitting here? Because we got to go through. There's hundreds and hundreds of people here tonight who would like to get a book signed, their book signed first. Why are you standing on the stage with that person? Is there a reason?
No.
How do we do it?
Why would you bring someone towering over us? Felt like fucking Donald Trump there for a second. Yes, what's your name, sir?
I'm Ian.
What? No, can I get some Sams and stuff? Like, yeah. I can't. How do you?
I-A-N.
I-A-N.
Oh, I-A-N.
Ian. Not that.
I knew that. I was just
Yeah.
joking around.
This is going to be interesting. Did you want something signed or?
Yes, I'd like.
Do you have a question for Bonnie?
No.
No.
I do want to thank her for.
Great bit, Ron.
Yeah. You know what? Great. I have a great production team. I'm not going to lie to you about this. Chris Stanley's doing an amazing job. He brings up a guy who struggles with the English language. He attempts to lay them on top of us. Sir, not only will you not be getting a signed copy, you won't be getting a copy of the book.
Oh, man. Ron.
Oh, look, everyone's nervous now.
Laying it down. Be careful what you say up here.
You really? Oh, look, he fucking left.
Ron.
Hi, Ian, come back.
Down. Getting mixed signals here.
This is usually Rich's role with
You
me.
know-
Not,
Actually, he does David Tell karaoke act that he's going to be finishing later tonight. What was your question?
No, I was just going to thank her for keeping Rich off the streets for us a little bit.
Okay, that's okay. That's what you fucking waited for all that time. So, what would you now? Let's suppose he just comes up. What would you write to him? Would you just sign your name or?
I would just say your shirt needs to be tucked in. But you're still better than me.
Oh, you're actually going to write that for him. I like that she said to me too. Great fucking bit, Ron. For an hour, I've been here with her, massaging her through each story. You know, helping her along.
Yeah, I don't think this part is working. Can we get back to the questions about me?
I sobbed through your dad's cancer.
I sobbed.
And then she's just like, great fucking bit, dude. Instead of doing that, where is Rich Voss? Let's bring Rich Voss out to say something.
This has actually, Ron, been so enlightening for me because I didn't know if I could be funny without making fun of Rich.
There he is. Yes. And he's just holding up.
I'll be upstairs.
He's just holding up. Rich, have you read the book yet? Have you?
Yes. Well, I still have 2 chapters to go.
Wait. Let's stop before. Have you read any book yet?
No. The thing is,
I've written one more book than he's finished.
I'm just happy you kept me off the streets. Oh, fucking horrible.
Rich.
We'd be happy if you did your hair. Anyhow.
Rich,
What?
when you do stand up with the hat on, do you always just take it off for one bit?
Oh, so they know I have hair. Well, I hang it on the mic like Sinatra.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm reading a book, and it's kind of tough when you're reading about, your wife before you. I mean, we both have histories.
But
she
mine
fucked
doesn't
celebrities and I
include
fucked open
herpes.
micers. But listen, it's so good. And let me tell you, I've read 2 or 3 books. Yeah, I have 2. I just listened to her Marin. So last weekend was a big Bonnie weekend.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm not going to lie. Next to my Marin, hers was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I read her. I got 2 chapters to go because I only read it when I'm on the road.
He's been doing good because he told me the other day, he goes, stop talking about your fucking book.
Well, at night,
I did.
night, she puts our kid to bed and reads our kid a book. And I walk past the room, and all of a sudden I hear about her she's reading her book to our kid now. Fucking enough already.
No.
Only kidding. It's amazing. I'm so fucking proud of my wife is fucking brilliant. All right, not only with the book, and I'm not bullshitting. Listen to me. Not only with the book, the movie that we made, Women Aren't Funny on Netflix.
Is that available tonight?
Just everything, and I haven't finished the book, and she hasn't listened to my 4 CD. So, anyhow, I'm proud of her. And is there anything? This is not my night. This is her night.
No, we know that. That's why we didn't expect you on the stage.
Wait, listen. Did you call? Did you just say?
I thought you would just say hi from the audience.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said
a question.
Did you say bring me up?
No, it wasn't.
I think we all knew that was a joke, Rich.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Listen. Anyhow, the book is great, and if you're in the Baltimore area this weekend, I'll be at Magoobies.
Rich Voss, everyone. Yeah, Bonnie, you were right. I really fucked that up, no doubt.
You don't give him a microphone.
No.
What is?
No.
He just tried to kiss me. This night was going so well.
But I really do. I think it's like really funny. Like the first comic that you ever saw in your life was a guy who did crowd work, and then you end up marrying probably the best guy who's ever done crowd work in history. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody better comes along.
Yeah. Well, there's always Stanley. He's out there waiting.
I keep trying to remember his last name.
Yeah.
Stanley Ullman. Stanley Ullman.
That was Rich.
Providing the name.
Yeah.
He has heard the stories.
Yeah, he's heard them all.
Yeah.
The book is indeed fantastic. And seriously, congratulations for that. It's one thing to be able to stand on stage and do comedy, but it's another thing to be able to write like this and have it something that connects with other people. I think it's just a fantastic thing to pull off.
Ron, you're the best.
And
you're the best.
Everybody, we're going to keep Bonnie here for another 7 hours when she signs your books. And she'll do a slow dance with you.
If you're good at crowd work.
It's called You're Better Than Me, Bonnie McFarlane. Let's hear it for everybody.
Thank you so much.
So wonderful.